Football League on TSN.
The CFL Live from Montreal tonight. The Tiger Cats and the Alouettes. Welcome to Montreal. The Alouettes and the Tiger Cats meet in the first of 3 important games in '96. Both teams coming off defeats in week number 6. Hamilton head coach Don Southern has lots of headaches. 6 regulars on the sidelines. And the Ticats have lost 2 of their last 3 games. Montreal head coach Bob Price has 2 wins in his 6 CFL games as head coach, and a couple of close calls, including last week against the Argos. He looks a little nervous down there tonight. This is a big game for the Alouettes.
Very big game for the Alouettes and Bob Price in his inaugural season as a head coach. And you know, when you're playing against a team that you're fighting in the standings, it's always a big game.
Too deep for the Alouettes to kick this one off. Armstrong to the near side, and Dexter Dawson standing at his 10-yard line on the far side of the field. And Paul Osbaldiston having a solid season, getting ready to kick off for the Tiger Cats. He likes handling both kicking responsibilities and has done that most of his career.
And the coaches obviously like to have him do both. It opens another spot on the roster when you have a kicker that can do the punting and the place kicking.
Olympic Stadium, Montreal. Ready for the Alouettes and the Tiger Cats, and we're underway. Dexter Dawson calls for it at the 21. Good move to get outside, and he's near the 35. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Corral. The Alouettes have their #1 quarterback back, Tracy Ham, ready to start his 4th game of the season. Ham has fired 7 touchdowns so far in '96 and been intercepted 4 times. Some changes in the receiving corps. Spencer McLennan starts outside for the first time with Nigel Williams at the other wideout. Chris Armstrong and Jock Climby begin inside. Norman Bradford, after a great game last week against Toronto, is beside Michael Soles in the Alouettes backfield. On first down, Bradford gets the call. And he's got a couple.
Defensively for Hamilton, they're led up front by Mike Philbrick, who's graded out the best for the defensive lineman. In the middle is Tim Brown, who replaces the still injured Calvin Tiggle. In the secondary, Don Robinson leads the league in interceptions with 4. He's joined by Brett Young, Rob Hitchcock, Sam Rogers, and Derek Greer on the other corner.
Gain of 5. This is 2nd and 5. Montreal. Ham with a little time. Going deep to Bradford, in behind the cover. He fell, gets up, and it was whistled down. And a great toss from Tracy Ham to Norman Bradford. 42 yards, Suits.
The matchup that Tracy Ham loves to get. You see Bradford just going out to the right of your screen and working on linebacker Joe Mumford. Now Joe Mumford, if he has to cover this guy all game, it's going to be a long one for him. Now he's a great tackler and a great linebacker, but that's the matchup that Montreal obviously would like to have. And look at the concentration as Norman Bradford's hitting the ground and still coming up with that catch.
Down to the 25-yard line of the Tiger Cats. It's a first down, Montreal. Here's the charge on Ham. He got it away, looks to the end zone, and missed the target that time as he looked for Chris Armstrong, number 81. This guy came out of nowhere last week.
You know, he was in Norman Bradford was in Shreveport last year and mostly known for his special teams work. Actually led the Pirates in special teams tackles last year, but hadn't really got a lot of time to carry the football. And boy, Bob Price sure happy to have him in the lineup with Mike Saunders still out with a bad knee.
It'll be 2nd and 10. Alouettes in the Tiger can 25. And buys a little more time. Now escapes. Might have room to make for the first down, and he does.
Throughout his career, he averages almost 8 yards a carry, and when he's running the ball, you know that Don Southern is going to have a long night, because Tracy Ham is most effective when he breaks out of that pocket like he did there. And the offensive line provided him some good time. He just couldn't find a receiver downfield, and rather than force it, Tracy Ham takes off and picks up the first down.
Alouettes off to a solid start. One big play from Ham to Norman Bradford, and then Ham himself running for the first down. Bradford takes the pitch. Slowed in the backfield and nowhere to go this time.
Oh, I think he fumbled the ball, and he actually, Montreal got it back. Looked like Nick Subas fell on that ball, Montreal center, but Bradford was making so many moves and going back and forth at that line of scrimmage. You're going to see him jumping around, try and find an opening, and when he does that, his ball gets stripped out, and just try and see who actually does it. Looks like maybe Samuel Hairston got his arm in there and pulls the football out, but Montreal hangs on to it.
Lots of 1, 2nd and 11. Alouettes at the Tiger Cat 14-yard line. And looks for the touchdown. Comes up with it. No, Rowley's out of bounds. Chris Armstrong. Thought he had it, so did the fans in that corner of Olympic Stadium. We'll get a closer look here. The official was right on the spot.
We're going to get a good look at it, and I just have to drag that 1 foot down in the corner of the end zone, and it's Chris Armstrong. Here he goes right here. Oh, well, look, there's his knees.
Yeah, he was ruling he was out of bounds, I thought. Now, whether or not he had control.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that looked like a touchdown to me.
Have another peek at that, I'm sure. Terry Baker settles for 3. Baker good on 15 of 17 field goals now, hitting on 87%. He was wide on that one. So Baker comes up a little shy, and the Alouettes have to settle for a single.
If you want full Office Suite power at a word processor price, look no further than Corel WordPerfect Suite. Corel WordPerfect Suite includes an exceptionally intelligent word processor, an award-winning spreadsheet, amazing presentation graphics, plus business graphics and utilities, hundreds of fonts and thousands of clip art images. Corel WordPerfect Suite delivers Office Suite power at a word processor price.
I'm Jim McKay with an update from the 2020 Global Games. Graduated hurdles rose, but Great Britain fell. Nathan Rudder grabbed the ring and the gold for the U.S. Earlier today, Caswell Fowler executed the first perfect 10 multiple board dive.
The world of sports is ever evolving, but athletes of today can choose All Sports Body Quencher for fluid replacement, unsurpassed taste, thirst-quenching flavors.
Coming up later, the record-breaking 300-meter dolphin relay.
So you say you're not a big fan of contests. You don't care about winning prizes. What if you had a chance to win a trip to San Francisco for a 5-night stay at Embassy Suites with tickets to a Major League game or one of 5 Sony Walkmans? Just by connecting with TSN's website at tsn.ca and telling us what cap Robert De Niro is wearing in the new TriStar film The Fan, starring Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes. Great prizes, a great movie.
Now do you care?
Ticats escape by giving up only 1 point on a solid drive by the Alouettes. It'll be 1st and 10 Hamilton. After Baker's single out of the 35-yard line. Calvillo trying to escape, nowhere to go. Got away from the first wave of Alouettes. Now the Alouettes are saying he dropped the ball down there, but referee Bud Steen isn't buying into that. Oh, he is. Wow. So the turnover goes right back to the Alouettes.
Not the way Hamilton wanted to start this game. Don Southern looking on, just thinking this is not what you want to do when you're not in your home park. You come out and fumble the first one. Now, Calvillo's going to take it out of the shotgun, and the pressure is automatic on him. I see Doug Peterson up in there trying to get a hand on him. There's the pressure from Demetrius Maxey and Gary Rogers, and then it looks like Peterson comes back, and the ball
I thought he was down, Glenn.
Well, here comes the first initial wave of pressure. Now, the ball is out now and on Demetrius Maxey's stomach. Doug Peterson sees it, falls on it. Montreal ball.
1st and 10 for the Alouettes just outside the 25. Bradford gets the call, breaks one, and slips through. He's down near the 15. Now the ball squirts loose, and Greer comes up with it. Interesting way to begin a ball game. Southern wants that fumble counted his way.
Well, he just saw his #1 quarterback get pounded about 3 times until that ball finally came out, and that one was awfully quick. Kind of bounced out, and he wanted the call there. But go back and take another look at that Chris Armstrong touchdown catch. Now, looks like the referee must have ruled that he did not have possession, and when that ball hit the stripe, it was an incomplete pass because his knees, both knees, were definitely in bounds when he first touched
He's
the ball.
rolling it incomplete. Obviously not out of bounds. Michael Souls, 2nd and a couple.
Well, that's just a couple of those plays. You're going to give one to Michael Souls just to keep the defense honest and make sure that they don't just ignore him from the running game. He'll carry the ball 5-6 times during the football game, and usually when he gets down in the goal line area, give it to the big fullback and let him pound it in there. Did that for many years in Edmonton.
Had 8 touchdowns as an Eskimo last year.
You know, we probably got a few fans out here. Athlete of the year just up the road here at McGill. 1987 and 88.
Had those great years as a running back for the Redmen. The Vanier Cup days. And up for the first down for Michael Souls. So the Alouettes get another crack at it here. Lots of opportunities early. 1st and 10 at the Tiger Cat 15. Ham to his right, being pursued. Armstrong got one hand on it and almost brought it around behind his back. He wasn't happy with the coverage down there as he looks for an official.
You're going to get a good look at exactly what Armstrong does. He's going to just a little change motion, it's called, with Jock climbing. He goes to the outside position, little stutter step move there, works back against Brett Young and gets him to turn his back, and then almost comes up with the circus catch. Pretty nice pattern there by a darn talented receiver,
he's
Chris Armstrong.
3 touchdowns already in 96. 2nd and 10. Alouettes at the Ticat 15. Ham has had all kinds of time all night. Now has to get out of there. And Norman Bradford couldn't quite catch up to it.
Well, I can't believe the amount of time Tracy Ham had to throw the football. I mean, Don Southern's going to have to get with those front defensive line, but watch the time that he has to get this ball off right here. Tracy Ham's going to pick it up, drop back. Now he has all day here, looks at about 4 different receivers, nothing there, and then he breaks outside. Finally sees Bradford, just that he had leaked out of the backfield, but he had to turn his back and couldn't come up with the catch.
Bradford really had not much of an opportunity to make the catch, although he was open. Kemp will hold for Baker, who missed his first one short range. And this time, no mistake about it, as the Alouettes have the ball twice and come away with only 4 points.
Oh, what'd you get? Chicken nugget. What?
Wendy's 6-piece crispy chicken nuggets are such a great deal at $1.99.
Help yourself.
Everybody's eating them. After all, you get 6 tender pieces that are crispy on the outside and juicy on the inside. Delicious with one of Wendy's 4 savory sauces. At $1.99, they're such a great deal. You might want to buy 2.
It's quite possibly the best deal in chicken.
Wendy's 6-piece crispy chicken nuggets, now just $1.99.
Great football. Great software. Join the winning team. It's unbeatable.
Play Safeway's Touchdown to Win. There's a prize for every touchdown and interception during TSN telecast. Prizes like a Daewoo 27-inch stereo TV, a Uniden cordless phone and answering system, a Dirt Devil Ultra handbag and cordless broom bag, or a packing case from Skyway Luggage. Or win a trip for two to Puerto Vallarta, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. Safeway feature products. Safeway Select Cookies. Jell-O Jelly Powders. Touchdown to Win at Safeway, today's better way.
You drink Pepsi, you collect points. You get Pepsi stuff. Pepsi stuff. People who drink it get it.
Back live at Olympic Stadium, Montreal. The Ticats may be a little fortunate, only staring at a 4-0 deficit as it stands right now. The Alouettes have had 2 solid scoring opportunities inside the 25 and come away with only 4. Calvillo with flags down. Finds a man open. It's Earl Winfield, and he's got room to scamper. And up to the 50-yard line, but there's infractions all over the field. Winfield gets 25 yards, but it may be coming back.
Boy, there was a defensive team meeting on top of Anthony Calvillo on that play just as he threw the ball.
Well, we got offside against Montreal as the first indication. Don Southern in his second full season as head coach in Hamilton.
That penalty's declined. Offensive pass interference. Hamilton number 1. That penalty's accepted.
So Winfield gets called for the offensive pass interference. And there was also offside Hamilton on the play.
Bert Thornton was offside, but Montreal did not take that penalty. They did take the interference by Earl Winfield, which would be more yardage, and they'll go first down again. Bert Thornton, of course, in because Matt Cody is out for Hamilton with a thigh bruise.
So Calvillo looks at 1st and 20. Not a solid start for the Tiger Cats. He dumps it off. Tony Stewart out to the 35. Anthony Calvillo getting his first start as a Hamilton quarterback in 1996 with Matt Dunning in order to sit out following the concussion last week against BC. A couple of touchdowns and 3 interceptions so far for Calvillo. Starting wide receivers, Marcus Grant, the veteran Earl Winfield, Ted Long, Jason Phillips, and Bert Thornton round out a 5-receiver set with Matt Cody, as you mentioned, missing. And the good news is Tony Stewart is back in the backfield. For the Tiger Cats on 2nd down and 9. Calvillo looking for Stewart to the near side.
Well, Anthony Calvillo had the play he wanted. Tony Stewart just leaked out of the backfield to the short side of the field, and he was wide open. But due to the pressure on Calvillo, he had to sort of throw the arc ball here. See the pressure coming. Tracy Gravely up the middle, and Jason Bryant. See, because of Bryant's pressure, Anthony Calvillo had to loop that one up and over and just couldn't hit his running back.
Keep the hands in.
Osbaldiston back at his 20. That's Dexter Dawson for Montreal. Back at his 25.
Secondary.
Bouncing around the 38. Dexter Dawson is dragged down at about the same spots. 44-yard punt and a 7-yard return.
Yeah, he was Norman Bradford when he was down in Shreveport was up the second guy on the depth chart because of a pretty good running back in Martin Patton, who was in Winnipeg this year for a little bit and didn't get a lot of chance to run with the football. But boy, he's making the best of his opportunity now in that one game, like we mentioned earlier.
He's the Montreal rushing leader already.
184 yards, and yes, in one game is leading the team in rushing. Bob Price talking to Alan Wetmore. A little bit of a special teams penalty that pushes his team back another, looks like 15 yards from where they caught that punt.
A blocking infraction against the Alouettes on the return by Dexter Dawson. So that's the only break of the ball game for the Tiger Cats so far. outside of the fact that Montreal didn't get touchdowns from earlier possessions. 4 receivers to the far side, and Hand gives it to Bradford coming to the near side of the field. He bobbled it. And there was an opportunity for the Tiger Cats there.
He lost the handle once already in the football game. It was stripped out of there by Samuel Hairston earlier, and then that one looked like the exchange from Tracy Ham to Norman Bradford was kind of low to the hip, and it just kind of bounced up. And lucky for Montreal that he caught that one sort of on the first hop, and away he went.
Yeah, loss of a yard, 2nd and 11. Alouettes at the 18, leading 4-0 at Olympic Stadium. Ham looks to put it up and looks to the far side. Jock Climby has his first catch of the night. Nice one, too.
Real nice catch on the sideline by Jock Climby. Moves inside to the slapback position for the 3rd week in a row. He started the season out at wide receiver, but he's naturally inside slapback. And I talked to Chris Wright before the game, Chris Armstrong before the game. Wright, of course, out for the season with knee injury, but he was telling me that they're doubling Armstrong a lot, and that's giving a one-on-one situation for Jock Climby, and he's taken full advantage of it in the past 3 weeks.
Nice little 27-yard gain for Climby and the Alouettes, now out near the 45 with a first down. 5:42 to go in the opening quarter. And the Owls keep it on the ground. Michael Souls' second carry of the game.
Now, Michael Souls might get the ball a little more in this game just based on the offensive scheme that it looks like Montreal has running right now. What they're doing is putting Norman Bradford out of the backfield into the slot back position, putting 3 receivers right to the right side. You see Armstrong right there and Jock Climby as they came out. So that'll leave just Michael Souls in the backfield. He could get the ball more.
2nd and 5. And gets a little pressure now and buys a little more time. Good block. And Hand on target to Spencer McLennan. Not quite. McLennan making his first start as an outside receiver. Couldn't hang on to that one from Tracy Ham.
Well, McLennan's got 2 catches in the season, but both his interceptions. He's, of course, the free safety for the first part of the year, and until tonight, as a matter of fact, where he moves to the wideout position. And I talked to him, and he says, I just want to contribute. I don't care if they switch me over, and he'd like to get this one back because Tracy Ham did a super job in getting him the football, and he really should have come up with a catch.
Watch the hands, guys.
Baker across the 40 to get a high kick away. Taken at the 20. And not much room to return. McLennan leading the tacklers for Baltimore, bringing down Earl Winfield.
You had to be there. The Kuwait oil fires, they called it hell on earth. 500 blazing lakes of burning oil. Man, somebody had to stop it.
1. The need, a weapon to extinguish the world's worst fires. 2. The innovation, an amazing foam that crawls across a sea of flame and smothers it. That's 3M innovation.
Without that stuff, it might still be burning.
We make a difference in the world because we make the leap from need to innovation. 3M innovation.
The definition of a mother, your mom. The definition of one tough mother, every CFL player. When it comes to football, there's only one way to play it. The right way. Our way. Radically Canadian. The Canadian Football League. It's our game. It's longer, wider, faster, and more exciting. Every game is an event, a party. Canadian football has been a tradition for over 105 years, and it's still kicking. The CFL. Now you too can be a radical Canadian by wearing radical hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and golf shirts, all from Starter Canada. Get radical from only $19.99. Call 1-800-545-5757. These items are not available in any store. The only way you can get radical is to call now. Dare to be different. Get radical. Be Canadian. The Canadian Football League, it's radically Canadian. Call 1-800-545-5757 now.
Join us tomorrow night for the CFL Live from Skydome in Toronto, the Eskimos and the Argonauts. Pre-game show at 7 o'clock. Gord Miller and Leif Pedersen will have play-by-play of that one. Did you hear me slide in a little Baltimore reference?
I saw that. Here? Yeah, I heard that.
You know, these uniforms should have a little bit of red in them somewhere. These guys look an awful lot like Stallions. First and 10, Tiger Cats. Stewart got the call.
Defense will be for the Montreal Alouettes. They're led up front by Grant Carter's had a super couple weeks, and Gary Rogers at the other side. And the linebacking core is Paul Randolph in the middle, Tracy Gravely on one side, Jason Bryant on the other. In the secondary, Irv Smith, the two-time All-Canadian, is at the corner, along with Douglas Kraft, Ken Watson, Charlie Gordon, and Harold Nash gets to start at safety. Spencer McLennan has been stolen to the other side of the ball.
On second down, Calvillo needs a bunch and gets it. Marcus Grant makes the catch. First down for the Tiger Cats, and a nice toss from Calvillo to Marcus Grant.
Oh, pretty nice toss by him. He got a little time to throw that football. Marcus Grant, projection-wise this season, is going to be over 1,000 yards, and he knows how to get open. That's the strength of this Hamilton team, is that receiving core, and even with Matt Cody out, they're still awfully strong in there.
Grant to the near side, and that means Earl Winfield is split to the far side of the field for a Ticat first down. Calvillo operating from the shotgun, and he'll have a first down. Jason Phillips, 25 catches and 3 touchdowns on the season, 367 yards coming into this one.
Well, you know, Don Southern probably made a couple of adjustments protection-wise after the first few series for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, because now they're giving Anthony Calvillo a little bit of time, and Don Southern has changed up his passing game a little bit, and Calvillo has thrown it on 3-step drop. That means he takes 3 steps back and just lets fly and doesn't allow that pass rush to get there.
An injured Alouette being attended to right near midfield. Looks like it's Douglas Kraft, number 17.
We're going to take a look and see. You're going to see Kraft in the man-to-man defense on Marcus Grant. He plant there and start to break on that end, get a little pressure on him. Looks like his own player, Ken Watson, brushed by him and hit him right in the ribs.
Marcus Grant second in yards, 1,559, and third in touchdowns with 11. Playing for Birmingham. Douglas Kraft looks to be okay and should be back in the ball game.
Might hit him just in the right spot to knock the wind out of him, and he'll be back in there. He has to go out for 3 plays.
Now Spencer McLennan looks to be coming in to replace him.
Well, it's John Kalin, John, back at the at the safety position, and they're not going to have Spencer have to play both ways now. He's got his role set out for him. That'll be wide receiver for this whole game. So John Kalin will be the backup.
Calvillo finds a hole. Nice opening. He'll have a first down, sliding safely and surrendering at the 45.
Anthony Calvillo's a tough guy, but I can guarantee you Don Southern has told him, listen, if you take off and run, you hook slide, because after you, we're pretty raw at the quarterback position with Matt Dunnigan back home.
More interceptions than touchdowns. And that often happens with young quarterbacks. He had a sensational beginning in Las Vegas.
Boy, he sure did. I remember going out there and playing one of their first games, and I used to call it in our meetings the fast break offense, because they just said Curtis Mayfield and those boys straight down the field, and Calvillo would just chuck it.
Chucking here, and he has Phillips, who breaks away from one tackle. Jason Phillips is inside the 30-yard line, down to about the 26.
Well, with Matt Cody out of the game, Jason Phillips is the team's leading receiver in this game. He's right on the outside out here, number 2, and he's going to just go down, work into the curl area for his quarterback, Anthony Calvillo, or excuse me, the out, right on the sideline. Does a nice job after catching the ball and picking up, make the first guy miss.
18 yards the gain for the Tiger Cats. Deepest penetration of the night, down near the 25. Calvillo puts it right on the money for Earl Winfield, and a great catch in tight coverage. Irv Smith was all over Winfield, and he held on.
Good catch and good throw and good poise by Anthony Calvillo. Let's not forget, this is a young quarterback. Only played about half the season last year, switching in there with Steve Taylor, and he had Grant Carter bearing down on him. In fact, sort of wrapped him up around the waist and stood in there and threw that strike to Winfield.
Winfield missed week 1, and on the season he has 16 catches now, closing in on 300 yards with 14 there. Tony Stewart grabbed in the backfield. Demetrius Maxey, number 99, slicing through to make the tackle. and the loss will be 2.
Demetrius Maxey is one of the youngest players in this Montreal lineup. Barely 21 years old and does a real nice job. You see him, number 99, slide across and catch Tony Stewart before he got a chance to get any steam going.
Marcus Grant to the near side. Earl Winfield, far side of the field. Nice drive going for the Tiger Cats. Second and long. Calvillo goes for the punch. Can't connect with Jason Phillips.
Wow. Gary Rogers came on a stunt and was all over Anthony Calvillo as he threw that football. I mean, Gary Rogers comes underneath and takes a shot at him. Jason Phillips couldn't get fully into his pattern. You see Rogers come around. He's going to be right down the middle of that offense for the Hamilton Ticats. Here he comes, 41. And you can see how Anthony Calvillo was thinking, I got to get rid of this one or take the loss.
Osbaldiston got on 16 of 22. And he's good on his first one of the night at Olympic Stadium with 28 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Interesting quarter to say the least. The Alouettes controlled early. Ticats put together a pretty nice drive to come away with their first points of the night.
Strong side option, strong side left. To him or to the side? No, away from the left. Away from the left.
By saying away from the left. Now, if I'm looking at the defense of Montreal, their left corner is Irv Smith, two-time All-Canadian.
So you're staying away from there.
So I would say that could be what he was saying. I'd stay away from the left. You saw Bob Price just give Irv Smith a slap on the butt as he walked by. Congratulations. Well, he's one of the best cover guys in the Canadian Football League, and when you're playing corner, you're out there on that island, you have to be able to cover man-to-man. Irv Smith does it like no one else can.
Spent a little time on the Saskatchewan practice roster in '92, did he not?
We had so many guys I don't remember them.
You missed Irv Smith? So did the Saskatchewan coaching staff.
Yeah, they wish
if
they had
the
him now.
information I had is correct. Here's Dexter Dawson. Gets up a good head of speed. And a marker down at the 25-yard line.
Well, looks right at the end of the play and might be face masking or a late hit on Dexter Dawson as he was trying to pick up some extra yards. See Chris Armstrong in there trying to figure it out with Joe Munford.
Back-to-back penalties on punt returns against the Alouettes. That's Stefan Reed. So again, the Alouettes will start a little deeper in their own zone. They were out a little closer to the 30-yard line, and maybe this will show you what happened.
Well, there you go. I mean, the rule of thumb is if you can't see the front numbers, both of them, don't make the hit because your running back can oftentimes make that guy miss. So,
and beginning at the 17 with a handoff to Michael Souls.
You're going to see Michael Souls get that ball. I mean, he's the only back in the backfield right now. A little bit of a different scheme we're used to seeing from Montreal. Even talking to Don Southern, he said, we scouted for two backs, and we think they're just going to run the ball right down our throat. But as you can see right now, Montreal has changed it up a little bit.
And not so far. It's close after one quarter at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, where the Alouettes lead the Ticats 4-3.
CFL live at the quarter. Brought to you by Subway. Try Subway's great tasting classic Italian BMT.
Boy, talk about your case of missed opportunities for the Montreal Alouettes. They drive twice, though, into the red zone and are unable to score.
Well, I think that Hamilton right now feels really good about only being down by 1 point. And after talking about the great year that Terry Baker's having, he'd missed that little chip shot. So
I
they had
noticed
great
that.
times.
That was your
score
big
points
deal,
and
too,
didn't
that
make it.
the kickers were going to dominate this game, and Baker Shanks
I
the
didn't
very
say they were
first
going
one.
to dominate it. I said they're going to be very
Yeah,
important in this game because they're both playing so well up to
Well,
this
he
point
missed,
in
so
the
he's very
season.
important.
That's right.
No, look, and let's face
Thank
it,
you,
this
Les.
game, I mean, this has been a yawner in the first quarter. 4-3, neither offense has really established anything. Montreal, you think that they're going to come out and try and establish the run. Hamilton, though, really playing the run. Les, you mentioned that off camera, and it's really true. But I think Obi's right. Hamilton should be thrilled that they weathered the initial storm with the turnover. 4-3, it's a brutal game so far, but let's hope it picks up a touch.
Well, let me tell you, Hamilton's offensive line right now, I feel bad for them because all year long they're going to be looking at defenses blitzing them like crazy. They had some success blitzing against Hamilton, and now every team seems to line up and just send people right after one right after another.
I think another thing, too, watching the game, Tracy Ham had some guys wide open. He's not real sharp yet throwing the ball, so if he can, get a little more accurate, then, that can make a big difference in making some first downs and touchdowns.
I don't think there's any question. Montreal should be ahead 14-3 at this point, and yet it's only 4-3.
But then again, Tracy hasn't run the ball yet either again.
What
He
about
saves that for late.
Anthony Calvillo could be the next one to get a concussion. How do they get him out of the pocket? Really, because they've had pressure the whole time. What do they do to make sure that he's got enough time and enough room to make his passes?
What he has to do is get rid of the ball quickly. I mean, this whole offense is predicated on getting the ball off to the receivers with a 3-step drop or with a 5-step drop. The reason why Matt Dunnigan isn't playing tonight is because he had to hang on to it too long last week. And for Anthony Calvillo, the same thing. I mean, and it falls back to the same thing, fellas. I mean, with no running game, they tried to, there was like the token run with Tony Stewart a few times.
That's the key. There's no running game. There's not a fullback in there that can block for those extra defensive people coming through.
But this is the offense that
ball.
shows, right, Ob?
Yeah, and I think the other thing, too, is when you're talking about Calvillo, they're using 5 import defensive backs, so they're making him hold the ball a little longer by covering those receivers of Hamilton, and that's giving their front four more time to get there.
Do you think Montreal will start running the ball a little bit more with Bradford here in the second quarter?
Well, I think, if they watched the tape from the BC Lion game last week, BC absolutely wore out Hamilton in the second half. And I think Montreal has to be thinking that way, that if we can establish Bradford and Michael Souls, we can wear these guys down. And I'm shocked that they're not doing it now.
I'm kind of surprised as well. We'll see what happens here in the second quarter of play as we return to Montreal's Olympic Stadium. Here's John and Glenn.
It's Glenn Suter, number 27.
That's okay.
Saskatchewan, a couple of years ago.
I'll just call
I can't believe they'd forget you.
Well,
that quickly.
I just want to thank Don for the throw.
Just the stats. 5 first downs for the Ticats compared to 4 for the Alouettes. Hamilton turned it over once and really only lost 3 points on it.
I think both teams can feel like they've sort of dodged some bullets out here. Both teams had chances to score and came away empty-handed, basically. When you get that close, you want the 7 points.
So it's a 1-point ball game, which is good news wherever you're watching it. Nice and close after 1 quarter. Rogers is deep, along with Ted Long and Terry Baker. 1-on-1 as a field goal kicker tonight. Nailed his first punt 42 yards.
It's a little bit below his league average, 43.3, which is 4th in the CFL. He's pretty happy with his punting, and so is Bob Price, with the exception of a couple of times when Terry Baker thought he was a quarterback during the season. I think Bob Price is pretty happy with his kicker.
Big charge by the Tiger Cats. Baker sails a deep one all the way back to the 30. Rogers turns. Looking for a little room far side and finds it. Gets another block over there. Has one to beat. And he's brought down from behind as Baker slowed him down enough.
No flag.
Kalen to catch up and make the tackle. A 60-yard punt. A 58-yard return.
Well, it doesn't help the net when you have a guy like Sam Rogers take it back. He's 4th in the CFL in punt returns, and Baker kicks a nice low, long kick, and he out-kicks his coverage. See the guys down there trying to catch up. Jason Bryant, one of them, number 11, and then when Sam Rogers gets the corner, he's just got to try and beat the kicker, which he does, Terry Baker.
Yeah, but Baker tried to put the hip check on him. It slowed him down enough.
Hip check only works when you got skates on.
Yeah, but he slowed him down or else he's gone.
Just enough for John Kalen to catch him, but big play for Hamilton.
Another opportunity for the Ticats who got off to a woeful start, giving Montreal a couple of kicks at touchdowns on the opening 2 drives. And now the Ticats are set up 1st and 10 at the Alouettes 23.
Yeah, and I agree with the panel back in Toronto. Hamilton has to establish a little more of a running game. They got a great running back in Tony Stewart back there to give it to him. They got to run the ball more just to keep that Montreal defense honest.
Stewart averages 8.2 yards a carry. Winfield to the near side. Marcus Grant to the far side of the field. Calvillo has Stewart in the backfield. And then 3 other receivers, Jason Phillips, Ted Long, and Bert Thornton. Takes lots of time to get it in play here.
Looks like he was audibling on the line of scrimmage, changing the play.
4 receivers near side, and Calvillo looks for Winfield. He's got the touchdown, but there's a marker down. Earl Winfield was wide open, waiting at the 2-yard line.
Well, could it be too long in the huddle to get the play off? Anthony Calvillo was changing the play. Oh, offside.
Yeah, a little early movement on the right side. There were 4 receivers to the near side.
Sounds like it was Bert Thornton again who was offside, and he's just not timing up his motion. You can, as a slot back, be moving towards the line of scrimmage. You see number 4 right there, Thornton, but you have to time it so that your quarterback has obviously finished his games when you hit the line of scrimmage. And you know, with the new quarterback in there, Anthony Calvillo, Don Southern knows the timing might be a problem.
Same 3 to the near side, including Thornton and Winfield, for a 1st and 15. Alouettes 28-yard line. Calvillo himself, and he finds nice running room. He'll have almost the 1st down.
Wow.
Option play there, and he kept it.
I tell you what, I am really amazed that that play is in the playbook in this game. And here you got your number 1 quarterback at home with a concussion, your number 2 quarterback, and the only guy that's really going to get you there running the option play. Now, worked out for Hamilton.
17 yards, they needed 15.
But Don Southern's taking a chance of getting a big defensive end coming down on an option quarterback right there. And we used to call it the old zap. Zap the quarterback if they try and run the option. And Don Southern doesn't want that to happen to Calvillo.
Ticats at the Montreal 11 with a 1st down. Calvillo, the option again. At least he showed a little option, except no one else was out there.
It looked like kind of a reverse option.
Yeah, he was going to slide it back inside.
Yeah, like Tony Stewart was going along with him, but he was in front of him. You're going to take a good look at it right here. Now, Tony Stewart, number 21, is going to come up in front of him. Now, Calvillo has the option to flip it to him. But I don't think he was going to. Tony Stewart looked like he was
running all the way.
He was looking for the block, and Calvillo was just going to take that one. That was just trying to get the defensive lineman to bite on that fake pitch.
6 for Calvillo there. This is 2nd and 4. Ticats at the Alouette 5. And a touchdown toss to Jason Phillips. 4th touchdown catch of the year for Jason Phillips. No markers anywhere on this one that I can see out there, Glenn.
No, this one will stand. And it was a good pattern and well-executed play by Hamilton. Anthony Calvillo put the ball right on the spot, and it's one of the toughest patterns to cover in the Canadian Football League, because you know they got to be a man-to-man defense there. And for Ken Watson, he has to take away the inside because that's the easier of the 2 throws. And of course, Jason Phillips knows it, runs what we call the speed out. Just a quick turn to the outside, and Calvillo was right on the money.
Osbaldiston adds 1 more, and the Ticats have the lead for the 1st time. Phillips has his 4th touchdown catch of the year, and Hamilton leads 10-4.
Play Safeway's Touchdown to Win. If your name appears below, you may have won a TriStar packing case by Skyway Luggage with practical features and modern-day innovations for today's experienced traveler. Skyway Luggage, quality and durability for over 85 years. Or Minolta Compact Zoom Binoculars, a convenient zoom lever lets you locate a subject at low power, then examine it in detail. Minolta high performance at an economical price. Touchdown to Win ballots, available exclusively at all participating Safeway stores.
Music looks like a lot of fun when you're playing, and it is. It's a business, though. You've got to make ends meet. I make 500-600 calls a month. The Advantage program is definitely something that's come into play in a big way. When you're out on the road, you're working 24 hours a day. Checking back with the office, the voicemail. The discounts for me have come in around 30%. It's a sizable chunk of money. It's a long, slow process to an overnight success.
Advantage, providing solutions for business.
CFL Live on TSN. Brought to you in part by Diet Pepsi. Diet Pepsi has no diet aftertaste. And by the Alliance of Canada's only full-service telecommunications companies, proud sponsors of the Canadian Olympic team.
There's a guy who's all smiles right now, Jason Phillips.
Hey, give it all to the God, first of all. Hey, Grandma, hope you're doing okay. This ball for you. It's my man, Tom, who take care of me. He gonna take care of this ball. We'll see you back in Birmingham, baby. Going to the cup.
Wow, Jason Phillips keeps catching passes like that. They just may go to the cup.
Now, do you think he knew the camera was on?
He got his cue, didn't he?
Dexter Dawson for Montreal. Out near the 40 to about the 38-yard line. Thumbs up to Jason Phillips on his 4th touchdown reception of the season. Scoring drive brought to you by Midas. 5 plays to cover 23 yards in a minute 57. Set up on a nice return.
Well, Jason Phillips is, if you project his numbers over the whole season, he'll be over 1,000 yards. And matter of fact, with Matt Cody back in the lineup after his thigh bruises healed up, they'll have 4 receivers that are projected over 1,000 yards in Hamilton.
Norman Bradford slashes off right tackle. Grabs 4 yards on first down, Montreal.
Well, you know, Montreal is going to continue to try and just pound it up in there, and especially with Calvin Pringle, who is out of the lineup. He broke his arm and probably won't be back for the rest of this season. Now, of course, they're in Hamilton hoping that Calvin Pringle can be back in that lineup, but you know, he's missed like, what is it, 3 games now, and still leads the league in tackles.
Yeah, so they're missing him big time. Tim Brown is in his spot. Michael Souls takes a swing pass out of the backfield. Ball squirted loose, but I think the play had been whistled down. And Souls came up a little shy of the first down.
Well, this is going to be interesting where they spot this ball to see if Bob Price takes a chance here and tries to gamble for the first down with the ball in midfield. And he decides to send in the punt team.
Ticats on top, 10-4. Montreal had 2 glorious scoring opportunities.
Fans here in Montreal wanting the coach to gamble.
They made a call for Bob Price earlier this season at Olympic Stadium. Game 2 here. Baker is ready to kick, and Ted Long ready to return. He boomed it last time. This is not as deep. Bouncing. Whoa. And it's a loose ball down there. Alouettes have all kinds of chances to come up with it, and they do. Sam Rogers, after the great return prior to this, wasn't paying close enough attention on that one, and Don Southern is not a happy guy right now. Ticats turn it over with a 6-point lead.
Get your entry form at a participating Subway store and tune in again to win.
If you want full office suite power at a word processor price, look no further than Corel Word Perfect Suite. Corel Word Perfect Suite includes an exceptionally intelligent word processor, an award-winning spreadsheet, amazing presentation graphics, plus business graphics and utilities, hundreds of fonts and thousands of clip art images. Corel Word Perfect Suite delivers office suite power at a word processor price.
It's 6 past the hour at the end of another busy Friday. As the moment approaches,
Eat More promises rich, dark toffee, loaded with peanuts. That's not too sweet tasting. When the moment arrives, Eat More promises to take a good, long while. Chew and eat more. Stretch the moment. It's a real, long chew.
Men in Speed Stick salutes the guy who stays late, even after a game of pickup. For long-lasting odor protection, Speed Stick, it just won't quit. By Menon.
Tight end return guy Sam Rogers had a great one a few plays ago and then bobbles this one and gives Montreal a chance to get the touchdown right back.
Well, Terry Baker put a little bit of a knuckleball there when it took a bounce. Sam Rogers couldn't handle it and never really got the handle on it, and then Paul Randolph jumped on the loose ball.
1st and 10 for Ham and the Alouettes. Ham away from early pressure. Now has an opportunity to run against the middle linebacker, Tim Brown.
That is vintage Tracy Ham right there, I'll tell you what. He did a little disappearing act on that Hamilton rush, and Tim Brown had to be the last guy to try and chase him down. He's the starting middle linebacker, drops out of there, shows blitz early, then he drops into the zone defense, and now he sees Ham, and he's just trying to shadow him. And then he's got to get on his horse and try and catch one of the most elusive running quarterbacks in Canadian Football League history in Tracy Ham. Second all time rushing quarterbacks.
Yeah, 12 yards for Ham there, set up now inside the 15 with a first down, Montreal. Ticats lead 10-4. Norman Bradford picking his way through for the touchdown. What a great run. Norman Bradford, 14 yards for the touchdown.
They're loving it in Montreal. Norman Bradford does a super nice job of just picking and weaving and choosing his holes. Good blocks up front by Mark Dixon. And
he danced through there.
Norman Bradford just danced his way into the end zone, but that line of scrimmage was pushed back by a great aggressive front five of the Montreal Alouettes.
Gets the Alouettes back in the lead. It's 11-10. And what a great run by Norman Bradford.
It's 6 past the hour at the end of another busy Friday.
As the moment approaches, Eat More promises rich, dark toffee, loaded with peanuts. That's not too sweet tasting. When the moment arrives, Eat More promises to take a good, long while. Chew and eat more. Stretch the moment. It's a real, long chew.
See the bear? Taste the food. See the bear? Taste the food. The Teen Burger, a specially seasoned patty covered with processed cheddar and crisp, smoky bacon. See the bear?
For superstar Bobby Rayburn,
Sean, say hello to your father. He's on the phone.
Hi, Dad.
the price of fame just went up.
What do you want from me? Don't you talk back to me. You show me some respect. Without people like me, you're nothing.
From the director of Crimson Tide, Robert De Niro, Wesley Snipes.
Now do you care?
At theaters August 16th.
A little more action in the second quarter in Montreal with the Alouettes back on top now. After a nice touchdown run of 14 yards by 23, Norman Bradford.
They take advantage of the turnover, the drop punt by Sam Rogers, and take advantage of it and put the points on the board.
This is Ted Long for the Tiger Cats. Pretty good returns in this ball game so far, out near the 35. And the touchdown made possible by a couple of blocks up front. Who did you spot?
Well, 6'5", 290-pound Bruce Beaton, who spent 18 games playing in Calgary last year, and he's working right here on Tim Brown, the middle linebacker, and watch the drive block. And that's what you call being on roller skates. And that's where you lose a guy like Calvillo. And Norman Bradford, when he gets blocks like that, he just has to read them properly, find his way to the end zone. But when Bruce Beaton and Mark Dixon are opening up holes like that, it's going to be a very productive day for Norman Bradford.
Anthony Calvillo working on a pretty nice night so far. 6 of 8 for 77 yards. 1 touchdown. He takes over at the Hamilton 35 now. Winfield and Marcus Grant, the wide receivers. Calvillo from the shotgun and looking to Winfield's side. Oh, nice coverage by Irv Smith. Step for step.
Winfield wants the penalty, and he may have a bit of an argument because Irv Smith, just before the play, put his hands on Winfield's back. You see him kind of hand fighting down the field. Right there, he gives him a little push, and then, but watch the catch up by Irv Smith, and times his jump perfectly to get that one hand up there. A little bit of incidental contact early, but hey, this is a great matchup between two all-pro Canadian Football League players, Earl Winfield and Irv Smith.
Yeah, we'll watch this one. Number 1 versus number 21. 2nd and 10, Ticats. Number 35, Calvillo takes off again. He'll have the first down. And another 12 yards to spare, stepping up on Montreal's side of midfield. Around the 53. A couple of big runs for Calvillo last week against the BC Lions, and already he's been effective running the ball here tonight.
Well, he had 77 yards rushing against BC, and like you said, John, there was a couple of real key plays. He's also a little dinged up. He's got a bit of a hamstring and a little bit of a twisted ankle in the BC game. You know that Coach Don Southern's worried about him doing as much running as he has been. I mean, he's running option plays.
5 carries for 51 yards. Nice little average for the quarterback. That's so far tonight. This is Tony Stewart. Broke 1 tackle and slipped to the outside. He's down to the 45. 7 yards for Stewart. Back in the lineup tonight after missing a couple.
Yeah, missed a couple of games with a hamstring problem, and he's going to be looking at Paul Randolph all game. Paul Randolph, the middle linebacker for Montreal. There you see him trying to fight through the gap, and he only gets one arm on Tony Stewart, and one arm is not going to bring down a quality running back in Tony Stewart. Definitely that. What a game that Paul Randolph had against Winnipeg that we did here.
Yeah, he might have been up for that one.
Yeah,
as an ex-bomber.
against his old teammates.
2nd and 3. Calvillo shovels it ahead for Stewart. He's slowed down by Carter and then wrestled down by Jason Bryant, number 11.
Well, we saw the play earlier when the Hamilton Ticats were down at the goal line where Stewart came underneath and Grant Carter was trying to come up on his pass rush. There he is right there. We'll just follow him throughout this play. He's coming up now. He has to make a decision, quarterback or running back, and sort of did both and faked out Anthony Calvillo. Made it look like he was coming to him and then dropped off and got an arm on Tony Stewart.
Grant Carter is a fine ball player, and he's a class act too. Nice guy to talk to. Just happy to be playing football.
And 6 sacks all last year. Of course, he didn't play the whole season, but he had 6 sacks last year, and he already has 5 in 1996.
Couldn't quite avoid the first down. It'll be 1st and 10 Ticats. Montreal 42. Calvillo one-hop that one. Looked like Marcus Grant was the closest receiver to the football that time.
Marcus Grant was trying to get into the middle. I mean, that wasn't a bad throw by Anthony Calvillo. He was trying to throw to the spot that he thought Marcus Grant would get to, and Douglas Kraft just denied him of getting inside position. Therefore, that ball just hit the turf.
Calvillo's an interesting quarterback. He likes to throw deep, and he likes to run the football.
He's going to have to try and find a way to beat a pretty good corner out there in Douglas Kraft and Irv Smith on the other side. You saw number 17 getting ready for this play.
On 2nd and 10, Calvillo puts it up, and he's on target. No catch. Had a receiver there. It was Jason Phillips. Couldn't hang on.
Not the quarterback's fault. You know, that sometimes in stats you should put down how many drop passes or deflections quarterbacks have. Sometimes a lot of those interceptions are due to deflections or drop balls, and that was not Calvillo's fault. Jason Phillips should have come up with the catch. He comes over from Birmingham, where last year he had 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns, so he definitely knows how to stick a fork in it, like my old coach used to say.
Dexter Dawson back for this guy's kick with Osbaldiston standing almost in midfield. Trying to avoid a return on that one, but it rolls into the end zone and out. He wanted to roll it a yard, 2 yards the other way.
The type of year that Paul Osbaldiston has been having, you'd think that one would go out on the 1-inch line because everything's been going well for him. That one just went a yard into the end zone, so
it was 2 yards shy of being perfect. That ties things up. 11-11. Hamilton and Montreal, 6:59 to go till halftime. And Tracy Ham's turn now. Hitting on 55% of his passes. Over 29,000 yards passed.
And that's a battle that will continue throughout the 96 season with both Damon Allen now back in the league in BC. Tracy Ham, you know, you look at those rushing numbers. Tracy Ham is 10th all time in all rushing. I mean, he just passed Willie Burden on the rushing list. Of course, I don't know that he'll catch George Reed.
On first down, nowhere to go on the left side. Norman Bradford got the call again. He has 1 touchdown tonight.
Well, Norman Bradford and Joe Munford are going to have the matchup all night, as Munford's probably the best linebacker right now for Hamilton. Leads the team in special teams tackles in 11, is 4th in the CFL in tackles, so they'll be hitting head-to-head throughout this game.
2nd and 10, Montreal, as Ham stands in and waits a little bit too long. Pass bounces on the turf, and so does a marker on the far side. Ham also paid the price.
Samuel Hairston got in there, and as did Keith Embray.
Illegal contact on an eligible receiver, Hamilton number 32.
That's Jay Phillips, listed as the 6th defensive back.
Played a little bit in the World League. He gets called for a little bit of a grab, and Montreal, of course, will accept that penalty and get the first down out of it.
Alouettes at the 45 with a first down.
Oh, yeah, don't
45 to go to halftime. It's all even at 11. Bradford, nice run. Bradford broke 1 tackle, maybe 2.
Boy, he looks so smooth as he hits that hole. He just looks like he has very deceptive speed. That one's going to open up right over here. He's got very deceptive speed, and you're going to see him just take the little jump step right there, goes back into the hole. Can cut on a dime, and then when he gets after coming out of that cut, he's got great acceleration.
A very smooth 14-yard gain for Bradford and the Alouettes. Closing in on the Ticat 50, and the play whistled down.
Montreal 62.
Procédure inadmissible contre les Alouettes.
Left guard for the Alouettes.
Yeah, Bruce Beaton is right here, and you're going to see him just take that step and be called for. Boy, he had the great block on Tim Brown there in that touchdown by Norman Bradford, and that time got a little anxious trying to get to the middle linebacker.
It'll cost the Alouettes 5, 1st and 15, now back on their side of midfield at the Montreal 53. And looks to the far side. Had 2 receivers in the area. Armstrong was the closest, number 81. And Tracy's smiling about that.
Well, he sort of threw it in between both of them. I mean, they were layered out patterns there. Chris Armstrong was the deeper of the 2. Jock Climbey was underneath, and I think Ham kind of threw it in between. between. You see Armstrong on the sideline. There's Jock Climby, 82 to the right of your screen, and he kind of throws it in between over Climby's head, but not quite to Chris Armstrong.
2nd and 15 for Ham and the Alouettes now, tied at 11. Ham has lots of time and buys a little more. Throwing on the run, and a little bit too high for Jock Climby.
Well, Tracy Ham has been just a little bit off throughout most of this football game in his throws. I mean, he points to himself, and he's talking to Nigel Williams there and telling him what he was thinking about and what he wanted to throw when he broke outside of containment there, but just a little bit high and outside. Jock Climby couldn't hang on to it.
Spencer McLennan is in at one of the wideout spots with Nigel Williams, and they haven't really found the outside receivers so far for Montreal. Here's Baker. Ted Long won't have a play on it. Bouncing out near the 20-yard line. They'll spot it at the 21. 36-yard punt that time with 4:08 to go till halftime.
Spencer McLennan is, like you talked about, John, got the move to the offensive side of the football, and I had a little chat with him before the game. He said, I just want to contribute if I can just make a couple of plays. And hey, look, he got himself open there on Derek Greer.
Reminiscent of days in Saskatchewan when John Gregory used to come up to you and say, I need a little more speed on the outside. Can you come and play offense for me for a little bit?
Yeah,
right?
that's what I
move from your safety spot and move outside.
Yeah, John, that's what I was known for. My blinding speed. Yeah, right. Me and Donovan Bailey.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could fly.
First down, Tiger Cats, and here's Calvillo again. Oh, he had a hamstring problem coming in, and this could be disastrous for the Tiger Cats.
Well, I thought
that looked like a hamstring pull, didn't it?
Well, I thought he just saw Paul Randolph coming to run him down, and he just decided to hook slide. But as soon as he hit the ground, John, he grabbed that hamstring, and this is devastating news for Hamilton now.
Calvillo comes up lame, and Matt Dunnigan is already at home watching in Hamilton. So that means Larry Jusdanis is next in line, and he has not had a down of Canadian Football League action regular season.
Oh, he's from Acadia, Canadian quarterback. He's a big guy, 6'4", 240, and he's going to come in there and be thrown into the fire. You're going to take a look at how Anthony Calvillo got hurt. He goes to his right, and then when he takes off and starts to scramble, I thought he was just kind of hook slide when he saw the linebacker coming, but
oh, you can see him pull it.
I mean, right there, you see he couldn't take that stride with his right leg, and as he was dragging that foot as he hit the ground. You're going to get even closer up. Look at it right now. Rogers and Jason Bryant on the pursuit there, and there it is. I mean, he just can't even lift it anymore. He had the hamstring problem in BC. Said after that football game that he might have, had Matt Dunnigan been healthy, not continued to play.
Well, here's a crash course for Larry Jusdanis right now.
Yeah, Jusdanis over there going, okay, now let's see. I've only learned about 4 plays. Are they still in the game plan? And he's trying to get the instruction right now as to which ones to run while he's warming up.
Now, you don't see many quarterbacks warming up with a headset on, but this guy does need a little bit of help from upstairs.
And you see he's got the wristband on there. That wristband, of course, has a list of plays that he can go to right on his left hand there. He'll be checking that list and going to his coaching staff to try and get some advice. But hey, this is probably one of the biggest games of this young CFL season for the Hamilton Ticats and Montreal, and you got the young Larry Jusdanis now having to go in and pull the trigger for him.
Almost 9,000 yards passed for Acadia.
Oh, he had a great college career at Acadia. I mean, he's a 2-time Heck Creighton Trophy nominee, and I mean, he could throw the ball. Don Southern says he's got a real strong arm, not a real mobile guy, but he's big and strong and tough, and he can read defenses, and he can really throw it. So a little bit of a nervous smile, I think.
Look at those eyes right now for Larry Jusdanis. Met him a couple of times. Real sincere individual. Really just wanted a chance to play professional football. Went to the NFL tryout camps this season.
Well, guess what? He's going to get his chance.
He's going to get an opportunity here tonight. Matt Dunnigan still at home, and here's Anthony Calvillo's injury here.
Well, they were playing in BC last week. Calvillo twisted his ankle and twinged his hamstring. And when that hamstring is tired and fatigued and possibly a little bit strained, it doesn't take a whole lot to have it pulled. And this is the reason that he was playing, because of the punishment that Matt Dunnigan took. That was the first hit by Reggie Carthon, and then he took another one from Shelton Quarles that is the one that caused the concussion and had Matt Dunnigan stay home this week. Right there when Dunnigan hit the turf in Iverwood Stadium.
Looking into Matt's eyes last week, and now Anthony Calvillo heading very slowly to the sidelines.
I mean, Don Southern must just be wondering, I mean, he's not living right or something, because the injury problems that he has had, I mean, going into this season, we used to talk about the fact that he had the nicest situation at quarterback because he had two pretty good ones. I mean, Matt Dunnigan, who is one of the greatest all time, and then you got that young guy like Anthony Calvillo, who was proven himself in a couple of years, so he had a nice situation, and now he's down to the rookie Canadian from Acadia.
Larry Jusdanis has no stats as far as the Canadian Football League is concerned. He faces 2nd and 7.
And guess what? Montreal's going to send them all.
I would think everyone's coming here. Jusdanis stands in, and he feathers one out here for Thornton. His first pass is complete. So that takes a little heat off the rookie from Acadia.
That's exactly what he needed. I mean,
he looked calm right there, but I think he's a little more composed after completing it.
Well, you know, it's exactly what he needs for his confidence. Just steps up in the pocket, nice composure, puts enough air on this ball to get it outside to Bert Thornton. And look at that bench. They're all there cheering and trying to encourage the young quarterback to stand in there, and he did a nice job there.
Well, that's a big play. You get out of the area of your goalposts. He's around midfield now. That's 30 big yards for a rookie, and he gets a timeout right after that with a 3-minute warning. This guy can't believe his good fortune, but there's still a long night away in Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Ticats and the Alouettes are even 11 with 3 minutes to go till halftime.
6 o'clock already? What to make?
Maple Leaf makes great meals easy.
Chicken Caesar. It's quick. Wait. Oriental stir fry. Exotic. Pasta? They love Italian. Sweet and sour chicken. Or maybe fajitas.
Maple Leaf chicken fixins. Lean strips of fully cooked seasoned chicken ready in minutes. Try the recipes included or create your own. Original, Oriental, and Italian. Maple Leaf chicken fixins. Great meals made easy.
So which joke should I lead with?
A funny one?
Thanks.
So did you hear the one about the guy who didn't use new Head & Shoulders?
I used it.
And it looks like you stopped.
Oh, that's not funny.
New Head & Shoulders works better than ever in setting up zones of protection against dandruff. Ordinary shampoo washes that protection away, so flakes come back, but not with new Head & Shoulders.
Hair looks great.
Should I become a male model?
That's funny.
New Head & Shoulders. Dandruff care for great-looking hair.
Coming up in our Corral halftime report, we'll have a preview of the Edmonton Eskimos and the Toronto Argonauts. We'll hear from the Fearless Foursome, and we'll also get John and Glenn's thoughts in Montreal. Let's return to Olympic Stadium.
Ticat quarterback Anthony Calvillo had a pretty nice night going. 7 of 12 for 80 yards and the 1 touchdown. He's heading to the locker room right now.
Hamilton fans can only hope that he caught a cramp in that hamstring and it didn't re-aggravate or pull any more than it was from the BC game.
Larry Jusdanis is in at quarterback for the Tiger Cats. He's 1 for 1, looks for Winfield, and is 2 for 2. A marker comes down, but I think it's going to be against Montreal.
Well, they're both hand fighting down the sideline. It's just a matter of which one the referee decides to call. I mean, Winfield catches that ball in one arm as he's going out of bounds. Looks like they're calling it on Montreal. Irv Smith got away with a little bit of a push on Winfield early in the game.
That's what I was thinking. This
might be a little bit of a makeup here. Not that officials ever make up.
I don't think so.
Pass interference. Montreal number 21.
I would certainly never suggest that.
No, absolutely not. Well, it's 1-1 in the matchup right now because Irv Smith got away with one early, a little pushing. The hand fighting continues. See Winfield a little push there, and Irv Smith a little grab, and then Winfield makes the one-handed catch as he's going out of bounds. And I don't know. If you ask me, I think you let that stuff go. But when you got the battle back
anyway, so what the heck?
Yeah, you get the battle going both ways. They're going to take the catch, not the penalty anyway.
33-yard first down. Jusdanis is 2 for 2. And he's picked out this time. His receiver had a hand on it and tipped it right to Tracy Grambling.
Well, the lesson that the young quarterback will learn from that one is that you have to be pin perfect in this league or it's going the other way. And that time, Jusdanis just let that ball get away on him a little bit. It was a little bit high on the intended receiver coming into the middle and tipped up in the air. See, Marcus Grant tips it up, and Tracy Grambling comes up with the interception. And boy, after that great start, 2 for 2, you know that Larry Jusdanis is a little disappointed with that one.
Third turnover by the Ticats. Alouettes begin with a first down at the 32. Shoveled ahead for Bradford. He's been great tonight. And on a tear again with 2:21 to go till halftime. Out across the 50 to almost the 54.
Well, Tracy Ham has one of the same plays that the Hamilton Ticats had. We saw this play where Anthony Calvillo just flipped it up to Tony Stewart, and this time it's exactly the same play. Tracy Ham just flips it to Norman Bradford. Right now, that offensive line and running scheme is doing a super job against Hamilton.
21 yards the gain for the Alouettes. 2:10 till halftime. We're even at 11. Bradford slowed in the backfield. Markers are down in the Alouette backfield.
Keith Embray read the mail. I mean, he was in the backfield by 4 yards. He was working on Mark Dixon and got in and just disrupted that play before he could get started.
Holding. Montreal 62.
Bruce Beaton has had a little bit of everything tonight. The great block.
Yeah. Well, you know, usually
holding call and a procedure call.
Usually the offensive lineman will tell you when you're walking around before the game that you only talk about them when they're offside or when they get a holding penalty. But we have talked about Bruce Beaton, some good blocks he's made in this football game. And there he got caught in the hole.
Well, the block was on the touchdown run. Or the big block, at least. Subas kind of tripped over the ball as he was going up to get set for this snap to Tracy Ham, so they reset it now. Ham going deep. Armstrong, the intended receiver, and it bounced on the line far side as we bring in Michael Whalen.
Thank you, John. Well, listen, this is just to confirm that Anthony Calvillo has re-aggravated his hamstring. He's gone in for observation. They're going to tape it up, see how he feels, and he may be out for the second half. We'll have to wait and see.
All right, Michael. Having a busy day today. Was over at tennis at the Jerry Tennis Stadium here in Montreal. Earlier, now Michael Whalen joins us on the sidelines at Olympic Stadium. Second and 20. Throwing on the run. Has his man, Jack Climbing. Just enough for a first down. Big play by Tracy Ham.
And Jack Climbing's congratulating his quarterback on standing in there and getting rid of that one, because Climbing was open. He was just found the hole in the zone, and he was sitting there waving for the ball. And he's the delayed receiver. He's right here, and he's going to take off and then just find the hole in the seam. You see the Hamilton's playing zone. They're all playing areas. Now there he is sitting there wide open. Now he's waving for the ball. He's just hoping his quarterback can get enough time to throw it. Tracy Ham found the time and delivered the pass.
Needed 20. Alouettes come up with 22 and a first down. At the Hamilton 44. And again looking deep. Armstrong. He's down. Touchdown. Jock Climbing. Climbing has the touchdown. Back to Jock Climbing.
This one starts out with great protection from that offensive line of Montreal. Tracy Ham has plenty of time to look off defensive backs and then let this pattern develop. Climbing had run out to the sideline, then down the field, and Sam Rogers got caught on the out pattern, didn't turn around in time, and Jock Climbing comes up with with the big play for Montreal.
Nice night cooking for Climby already. 2 in a row. He now has 93 yards in the evening, and the touchdown as the Alouettes swing back into the lead. Jock Climby's 4th touchdown of the year.
Well, look at the time that Tracy Ham has. I mean, he's just standing in there looking back and forth to both sides of the field, lets the play develop, and then his eyes get big when he sees Jock Climby in behind Sam Rogers by 4 yards. Then Climby comes up with the catch. Rogers is kind of turned around and can't come up with a tackle.
And Tracy celebrating another touchdown toss. That's 2 on the night.
Well, he has been a little bit off target throughout some of this game, but he certainly wasn't on that play. And on the play before where he hit the same receiver, Jock Climby, right in the middle of that seam when he had pressure all around him. So, you know, the great ones, even if they're off a little bit at the beginning of the game, the great ones like Tracy Ham and Matthew Dunnigan, these guys find a way to get it back on track before the game is over.
Kickoff after the touchdown. Sam Rogers got 1 block, now slides through, and he's out near the 45, and tough to bring down even at the 50.
Well, hey, it's tough to get mad at a guy who breaks a kickoff return after getting beat for a touchdown. I mean, you just want to, when you're a coach, you probably just want to talk to him when he comes to the sideline, but it's going to be awful hard to say anything bad about him now after the return.
Scoring drive brought to you by Midas, the way it should be. 78 yards covered in 5 plays. And the Jock Climby, a 44-yard touchdown. Montreal on top by a touchdown, 18-11. Now the Canadian kid, Larry Jusdanis, gets his hands on the football for a second time. He completed 2 of his first 3. Stewart is nailed in the backfield.
Well, how about this for a rookie quarterback? You have to come into a game that's pretty important in your division, playing against Montreal and trying to hold them off in the standings. Then you're down at halftime, and you have to bring the team back from a deficit. That's not too much pressure.
Not much pressure at all.
Oh, no.
Final minute now, the opening half. Jusdanis operates from the shotgun, stands in, not noted as a runner. And he may have enough for a first down, or at least enough to gamble here.
Not known for a runner, but that was a pretty nice little move right there at the end of that run. Now you're going to get a good look at him. I mean, he's a big kid. I mean, this guy's 6'4", 240 pounds, not the fleetest of foot, but he's strong and tough and steps up in the pocket. Good composure. Now watch the move right at the end of the play. Look, little spin around move right in behind the yardage marker there, and picks up a couple extra yards out of it.
So it's 3rd down, less than a yard to go for the Tiger Cats, who, with 52 seconds till halftime, have an opportunity to put a couple more points on the board.
Well, Don Southern doesn't like the mark he got because it's 3rd down and inches, and he thinks that his quarterback got the first.
You wanted to just take it, hang on, and fall ahead if you're 6'4", right?
Well, I'm telling you, you weigh 240 pounds and you're 6'4". All you got to do is basically fall down for the first down when you're only inches away. Plus, you got a young quarterback in there. Now he's got to make a read on the defensive end. Gary Rogers runs the option. He's got to execute the pitch out to Tony Stewart, which he does perfectly, and then Stewart comes up with a big play. I mean, there's gambling when it's inches to go, but then there's really gambling when you run a play like this. I mean, Don Southern's got to go down to Vegas.
Now he gets an injury on the Alouette side of things, so that gives him a little bit of an opportunity to talk things over.
I think it's Harold Nash who's injured down in the field for Montreal. He was in on the tackle on Tony Stewart from his safety position. Looks like he got the worst of the tackle. Well, you know, the thing when you run those gambling type of plays, where you run something like an option like that on 3rd and inches, one thing for sure, if you can execute it, you're going to catch the defense off guard, because I guarantee you no one on the defensive side of that ball thought that they were going to run that option. You see Harold Nash is going to come up here, and you see how he got injured. Looks like he's going to get in on the tackle, and just as he goes down on the ground, right there, it looks like Doug Davies gets his knee right in the head of Harold Nash. And that's what they're looking at. They're kind of looking at that neck. Kind of got pushed around by Doug Davies' knee.
Well, an interesting first half. It wasn't brilliant football all the way, but lots has happened here.
Well, I tell you what, I'm really impressed so far with Larry Jusdanis. I mean, tremendous pressure on him. I mean, he wants a chance to play. He's getting it. He's right in the fire. He's showing pretty good composure. Scrambled for one, thrown a couple of long ones, and had real nice touch. He had the one that was
30-yard passes, one for 30, one for 33, his first two.
Right, and then he had that one that was just overthrown that was intercepted by Tracy Grabbley. But other than that, pretty good start for a guy who's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders right now.
Hamilton out rushing Montreal so far.
You know what's neat about it too? He looks like he's having fun out there.
He's smiling, no doubt about it. This is the opportunity he grew up waiting for. 23 seconds till halftime right now. Jusdanis takes off again, his second run of the ball game. And he's down to the 20-yard line with 11 seconds to go. Now, how well can he operate the clock? Southern does have a timeout. He was calling for a timeout just prior to this, but then he got the injury by the Alouettes.
Yeah, and that's an automatic stoppage of the clock. So he'll call the timeout this time, and have his quarterback come over. He talked about maybe getting one play in before they go and kick the field goal, maybe trying for the end zone one time, and then lining up Paul as Balderson if it doesn't work.
I got a few seconds.
Grant Carter's had a real good past couple of games, but he's working on a pretty good one in himself. Miles Gurrell, and see, it's awful tough to see where the quarterback is when your helmet's up around your forehead.
Maxey didn't miss by much. Demetrius Maxey chasing Jusdanis from behind, and he's finally dropped by Tracy Grabbley.
Well, nice composure. First, he has to come up with the catch. Now, a lot of young quarterbacks in this situation will try and force something downfield when the protection breaks down, and he didn't. Took off.
On first down, trying to escape again. Welcome to the CFL, Larry Jusdanis. That's the first sack suffered by the rookie quarterback. Grant Carter's 6th of the year.
Well, Grant Carter, we saw that isolation on him earlier. He was working on Miles Gurrell, and this time I believe he was on the other side working on Dwayne Morgan. Now, Dwayne Morgan, number 60, is a little bit younger than Miles and not quite as experienced. Grant Carter took care of that and took advantage of it. And I mean, Jusdanis is strong, but it's awful hard to keep a guy who weighs 245 pounds off your back.
It took a little to bring him down, though, didn't it?
It sure did.
Merop will hold for Osbaldiston. Spotting it at about the 42, his longest of the season from 47. And Ozzie misses this one. Dexter Dawson kicks it out of the end zone. And that'll end the opening half.
He kicked it out to save the single point. No time left on the clock. He couldn't get out of the end zone, so why give up the single? Not a bad little punch for Dexter Dawson. He does it all, that guy. He plays backup DB, receiver, returns kicks, and can punt.
Well, Larry Jusdanis got his baptism in the Canadian Football League. An Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Join us for the second half and find out if Calvillo is back or Jusdanis has to take the Ticats the rest of the way.
CFL Live at the Half. Brought to you by Corel, world leader in CD-ROM technology.
Welcome back to our CFL Live control room. And gentlemen, we've got an interesting football game to say the least. Toby, you want to talk about special teams.
I've been saying all along how important the special teams are in any given game. And in tonight's game, we've seen a lot of plays made, the long punt return, and then he fumbles a punt, and good hustle by Montreal. And then both kickers missed close field goals. So special teams is having a heck of an effect in this game right now.
And not to harp on a point, Obi, but you did say the kickers were going to have a great game tonight. They both struggled completely. And the fellow that you forgot his name was Sam Rogers, who had the good punt return. Let's talk about Sam Rogers, involved in 3 big plays in the first half. One great punt return, set up a Hamilton score, and then a really poor judgment, another one where he coughed it up, and Montreal's Norman Bradford scored subsequently on a touchdown. And then he's get beaten by Jock Climie for a touchdown pass. So Rogers, who can be a great player sometimes, is a very, very frustrating player at other times.
I definitely have to take up for Sam on the pass, on the touchdown that you said he got beat by, because it looks like a screw-up in the coverage back there. Looked like they were running the zone, and nobody got deep. Everybody was playing short, and I've been in that situation where, you know, people have blamed me for getting beat for a play that I wasn't. It wasn't my responsibility.
Here was Les Brown. Here was Les Brown, and he'd go to the other guy. Sorry, my fault. Sorry, my fault. That's what he would do.
You know what, though? We've seen
It's not a bad move, actually.
No, it's a good move.
It was one of his better moves.
That's right.
Well, we've seen a lot of coverage breakdowns, so when it comes to that Ticats secondary.
Well, you know, they had 17 of 18 of their points have come off of turnovers. That's Montreal. They've scored 17 times off of the turnovers that Hamilton has made right now. So they have to stop making turnovers and start playing some straight football.
You know, Les, and a week ago in their loss to the BC Lions, BC Lions had 21 points on turnovers as well, so that's a huge problem for the Cats.
Anthony Calvillo is out. Larry Jusdanis is in. Early assessment, Mr. Pedersen.
Oh, it's the second coming of Russ Jackson right here. Did you see the way he launched those beautiful passes downfield and run? And, boy, he's in a tough spot. I mean, you know, you're down to your last quarterback. He's had little or no playing time.
Let's give the kid credit. I think he's made some decent plays under those circumstances. He's never had a chance to play all year, and here he goes. Those first 2 passes are pretty well thrown.
But you know what I like about this kid is that he looks like he's having fun. There's a big grin on his face the whole time, and there's no stress on him at all. It looks like he's having fun out there.
You know what, though, Les? He's not quite tuned in with what you're supposed to do during a game, because at the end of the half, when Osbaldiston missed the field goal, he went over and shook his hand. I mean, that is not good timing. You don't shake a guy's hand when he's just missed.
He's got to step up and be that leader, you know.
Hey, listen, I hope he has a great second half. It'd be a good story, wouldn't it?
It's not like Tracy Ham has been outplaying him greatly either, though, because Ham has not looked good in this football game either.
Tracy Ham's having a tough night throwing the ball with any kind of effectiveness. He's overthrown a lot of guys that have been open. And on the other side of the ball as well, the young Thornton, who's playing receiver as a slot back for the first time for Hamilton, he's had a lot of problems getting the motion to get to the line, hit it on the run, and that's hurt their offense at times. They had 1 touchdown call back earlier, so you know, there's some things going on out there with a lot of new people in the lineup.
But, I mean, to put it all in perspective right now, though, I mean, with Larry Jusdanis having to go the rest of the way for Hamilton, all their other injuries, they've gone to a 3-man rush against probably the best offensive line in the CFL. They can't get any pressure on the quarterback, and when they drop 9 people into coverage, they're still not covering well. So, quite frankly, Montreal, I mean, they should be a lock to win this football game. If they don't, you got to call the cops.
Well, we know that Hamilton earlier in the week was really concerned about the rush, what happened to him last week with BC Lions rushing for 226 yards against them. So this week, Don Sutherland said that he had a surprise for them. I think the surprise was basically to slow down the rush on the pass, because it looks like they're coming across very tentatively, looking for the run instead of the pass, and that's why they're not getting any pass rush on them whatsoever.
Yeah, you talked about Sam Hairston, but who would have thunk it that going after the first 2 quarters of play that Montreal would be outrushed at this point in time by the Ticats? They got to get that ground game going, do the Alouettes. We're just getting started here at the half. We're back in a moment.
CFL Legends, brought to you by Corral. He averaged more than 20 yards per reception in his career. More on Hal Patterson in a moment.
If you want full office suite power at a word processor price, look no further than Corel Word Perfect Suite. Corel Word Perfect Suite includes an exceptionally intelligent word processor, an award-winning spreadsheet, amazing presentation graphics, plus business graphics and utilities, hundreds of fonts and thousands of clip art images. Corel Word Perfect Suite delivers office suite power at a word processor price.
Hal Patterson began his CFL career in 1953 with Montreal and quickly established himself as a great receiver. His best season undoubtedly was 1956, when he caught 88 passes in a 14-game season for an average of more than 130 yards per game. That year, Hal set a CFL record that still stands when he had receptions totaling 338 yards in one game. He was also the CFL's most outstanding player in '56, and throughout his career appeared in 5 Grey Cup games with Hamilton. You can see more on Hal Patterson and other CFL legends at the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in Hamilton.
Tomorrow night, it is East versus West as the Edmonton Eskimos travel to Skydome to take on the Toronto Argonauts. This is going to be a good football game. You've got Danny McManus and company taking on a very tough Toronto defense. The Eskimos team, it's based upon its defense. They are outstanding, but they say, you know, throw all the stats out the window when you face Doug Flutie.
We face a drop-back passer with Archer, and you know, now we're facing Flutie. You know, the guy that lit the lead up and then still continue to do so. So we just got to go out and be in the top of our game. You know, we don't ever worry about stats. You know, we let other people keep up with that type of stuff. We just got to go out and play defense.
We may not go out and be able to dominate Toronto like we did Ottawa last week, but you know, if we go out there and just play our own game and dictate what he can do and what he can't do, then we'll be in good shape. And you know, if we can keep them under 20 points, then you know, that'll be a terrific goal to set for ourselves.
Toronto's a good team. Their defense is playing well, and it's going to be a big challenge for us. We're coming off 2 games against Ottawa where we got a little confidence going, but this is going to be a big test for us, and it's a big stepping stone early in the season.
Now, Leaf, you'll be down at Skydome calling this football game tomorrow. We expect it to be a very, very good matchup.
Oh, it's a dandy. You know, I mean, Edmonton leading the league in defense. Doug Flutie's in high gear. I mean, I'm really looking forward to that game tomorrow night. But I know, Obi, you want to get back to the game in hand tonight because although Hamilton's leading Montreal at halftime in rushing, I mean, they're putting a lot of pressure on their quarterbacks to get the job done on the ground.
Well, we saw Calvillo pull his hamstring because he's trying to run the ball just out of, you know, scrambling. And then the only 2 legitimate running plays that Hamilton has in their offense, and especially with a short week, is the option play and the quarterback draw. And other than that, they really don't have a designed running game. And, you know, you're putting a lot of pressure on a team that has 1 quarterback at the moment.
Why isn't Montreal running the ball a little bit more? Because Norman Bradford has looked great. Les, this was your marquee matchup. How would you rate it so far, Bradford versus Tim Brown?
Well, I don't even think it's close. Bradford's winning this one by far. I think what's wrong with Hamilton's defense right now is that they have their linebackers really close up behind their defensive line, which leaves them really susceptible to the offensive linemen getting on them really quick. See, the job for the defensive line is to try to keep those offensive linemen off of the linebackers so they can make the play. But if they're that close, you know, they can get 2 for 1.
You know, that's a great point, though, Les, because last year when Mike Pringle in the last couple of seasons had those great years behind that offensive line, defensive teams used to say, we can't find him sometimes because that offensive line's so big. So when as a linebacker you stick your nose up that tight, you're going to have problems, and Hamilton's having that tonight.
The linebackers can't be that tight, like Les mentioned. They got to be at least 4 yards off the line of scrimmage, and then a good linebacker has to keep the ball in front of him. If he gets in front of the ball carrier and he cuts back, he's dead.
Boy, it's fun to coach from here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot easier, isn't it? Larry,
I'm not coaching. I'm trying to help the viewers understand what Mr. Brown's going through.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, gentlemen, we will take a short break. You are watching the CFL Live on TSN.
Play Safeway's Touchdown to Win. There's a prize for every touchdown and interception during TSN telecast. Prizes like MasterCard Traveler's Checks from Bank of Montreal, Macassa Stoneware and the Lifestyle Pattern, Minolta Compact Zoom Binoculars, or Timex Watches with Indiglo Nightlight. Or win a trip for 2 to Puerto Vallarta courtesy of Canadian Holidays, Canada's largest vacation company. Safeway feature products: Kellogg's Nutri-Grain cereal bars, Glad garbage bags. Touchdown to Win at Safeway, today's better way.
Easier to use, 2 more places from more places, with a savings plan that goes just about everywhere you do. Our calling card is the best card, period.
Well, a Tracy Ham touchdown to Jock Climby proves to be the margin of difference so far in this football game. For their thoughts on the first half, let's return to Olympic Stadium. Here are John and Glenn.
Happy times here as they celebrate a whole bunch of Quebec Olympians being introduced at halftime. And happy times for the Alouettes, too. Took advantage of some turnovers. Tiger Cats, way too many injuries, right?
Well, that's been the problem for Hamilton. Coming into this game, Hamilton had 10 starters out of the lineup for injuries last week. Now this week it's 8, 9 counting Anthony Calvillo. Injury problems still plaguing Hamilton.
Let's take a look at the stats as we have them right now. And really turnovers, as the subway stats come up, cost the Hamilton Tiger Cats 17 points when you look at that. Everything else looks rather close.
Oh yeah, they're real close statistically in the game, and it is a close game other than those turnovers, and then the big one being the injury situation.
We wonder what Larry Jusdanis is thinking in the Tiger Cat locker room right now. He is expected to start the second half for the Tiger Cats, down by a touchdown, and Larry Jusdanis completed his first two, had an interception problem that led to a touchdown the other way. He's down by a touchdown.
I'm here at Skydome with Circle researcher Sheila Forbes. Domes, diamonds, circles, this is all coming out of left field.
No, Dean, it's right over the pitcher's mound. But you'll notice the baseball diamond has been transformed into a circle.
Fascinating. Any clues?
Well, Dean, we found traces of chocolate and peanut butter on this baseball.
Reese Peanut Butter Cups, a close encounter of real milk chocolate and peanut butter.
I guess this time they've really thrown you a curveball.
No, it's a Rawlings.
Kids. Darn kids. Darn kids. I don't understand. Darn kids. Kids. Darn kids. Darn grown-ups.
Thank you for making McDonald's Arch Deluxe the country's favorite new burger.
I don't know what that
But please, keep Canada beautiful.
If you want full office suite power at a word processor price, look no further than Corel Word Perfect Suite. Corel Word Perfect Suite includes an exceptionally intelligent word processor, an award-winning spreadsheet, amazing presentation graphics, plus business graphics and utilities, hundreds of fonts and thousands of clip art images. Corel Word Perfect Suite delivers office suite power at a word processor price.
Captured live in the first half. Montreal's Tracy Gravely.
One of the little linebackers.
Season, and Gravely came up with one interception in the opening half. Nice one. Alouettes on top of the Tiger Cats, 18-11 as we kick off the second half in Montreal. Saw a little bit of everything, including the first Canadian quarterback in action in some time.
Yeah, back in 1993, Bob Torrance was the last Canadian to actually play, and guess what team he played for?
He was in Calgary for a bit.
Yeah.
I think he played mostly
in 93 it was Hamilton, that's right.
Nice atmosphere in Montreal for this one tonight, and the second half is underway. Sam Rogers returned a big one and fumbled one to set up a Montreal touchdown. Hangs on here near the 25. 13-yard return after a 63-yard kickoff. Larry Jusdanis.
Well, he has a chance now to go into the locker room at halftime and maybe get nervous.
Yeah, I don't think he was expecting to play in this one, although we did know about the hamstring problem.
Well, sometimes you get thrown in the game like that and see the injured Sam Rogers, it looks like, on the field after that kick. He was hit by Stephon Reed, leading the CFL in special team tackles. He's coming right down there, number 47 to the right of your screen, works off the block and then hits Sam Rogers right in the midsection. Right there to add to his totals in special team tackles, and Sam Rogers down on the field because of it. But Larry Jusdanis, now he goes into the locker room now. He has a little bit of time to think about it. You know, he looks at the situation on the score clock. He thinks about the importance of the football game, and I guarantee you he probably had every player up there like Earl Winfield saying, hey, we believe in you. When they're all talking to him, and probably just rather have a little time to himself.
Looking ahead to tomorrow night at Skydome in Toronto, the Eskimos in town. Danny McManus against Doug Flutie. Pre-game show with the boys.
It'll be a good matchup. I mean, Danny McManus had a pretty good game last week out, and you know, that Edmonton defense always keeps the Eskimos in every football game, and it'll be a good matchup to see that defense against Doug Flutie.
Join us at 7 o'clock Eastern for that one tomorrow night. Rogers to the sidelines now, and Jusdanis takes the controls of the Tiger Cats once more. 1st and 10 beginning at the 25.
Now look at this, the young quarterback audibling on the line of scrimmage.
Uses the shotgun. It was nailed as he got that one away.
Oh, hello. He hasn't had a whole lot of contact. He hasn't even had a whole lot of reps, has Larry Jusdanis. Demetrius Maxey wanted to give him a little initiation to the Canadian Football League, and then you know that they went back in there at halftime and said, hey, this is a young quarterback, let's get some pressure on him and let him know we're in his face. And
that was in the face,
that
too.
Was right in the face from Demetrius Maxey.
2nd and 10. Tiger Cats at the 25. They're down by a touchdown. Second half just underway. Jusdanis a little high for the intended receiver that time. Tony Stewart.
Well, Harold Nash should come down low and come on the safety blitz, and you're going to, the young quarterback's going to see a lot of different stunts and blitzes from Montreal, especially in this, right here is Harold Nash, especially in this situation. He's coming in on the safety blitz from the side. Jusdanis doesn't see him. He doesn't get the pressure, gets the ball off, but you're going to see a lot of stunts from Montreal.
Osbaldiston back at his 10. Average a little off tonight. Low snap. Just got it away. Bouncing for Dexter Dawson. Takes it at the 40.
That was a pretty good snap by punt by Paul Osbaldiston. As that pass rush was coming.
44-yard punt that time. It's Tracy's turn when we return to Olympic Stadium.
Great football. Great software. Join the winning team. It's unbeatable.
Now it's time for your favorite snack. McCain Pizza Pockets. McCain captures perfect pizza taste in a pocket. Ready for that first bite. Now's the time for your favorite snack. Perfect pizza taste in a crust that's baked, not fried. So there's no leaks, no mess, just taste. McCain Pizza Pockets. Just perfect pizza taste.
Play Safeway's Touchdown to Win. If your name appears below, you may have won $300 in MasterCard Travelers checks from Bank of Montreal. Enjoy unsurpassed acceptance and replacement service worldwide. Now available in 11 major currencies. Or the new Dirt Devil Ultra Hand Vac. Twice the power and twice the convenience, now with handy attachments on board, and the new Broom Vac. It sweeps and vacuums in one simple step. Touchdown to Win ballots, available exclusively at all participating Safeway stores.
Tracy Ham and the Alouette offense marched for a touchdown the last time he had his hands on the football late in the opening quarter. Nice little toss to Jock Climby to get the Alouettes on top. Begin the second half, 1st and 10 at the Montreal 49. Spencer McClellan to the near side. Nigel Wilt Williams flanked to the far side of the field. Fumble by Bradford, and it's picked up by the Tiger Cats.
And Tom Gerhardt comes up with a big fumble recovery, and he caught it right off the first bounce. I think Norman Bradford has put the ball on the ground a couple of times, and he's been lucky so far. Lucky for Montreal, unlucky for Hamilton, but this time the bounce goes to the Ticats. He's going to come out here, and as he gets the pitch, it's already on the ground right now. You see it bouncing right around the feet of his lineman there, and here comes Tom Gerhardt, comes up there and scoops it up. In San Antonio last year, had an interception with them, the 3 fumble recoveries, and Bradford is going to be talked to on the sideline. Just say, hey, I know you're looking to make moves at the line of scrimmage, but secure that ball first.
Jusdanis and the Tiger Cats take over at the Montreal 50. First down. Ticats, 4 receivers near side. Jusdanis looks that way and has a man wide open. This is Long streaking down the sidelines, and he's down to the 25. Ted Long, number 5. Ticats move into scoring range. Michael?
Thank you very much. Well, standing by with me is the owner and president of the Montreal franchise, and there's a big story in the La Presse newspaper, Jim, that this team could be playing its last game here. Is there any truth to that story?
Mike, no, there's no truth to that. Right now, we've been working with a loan with the city for the last several weeks. It was supposed to be approved a week ago. It is still in committee. We're working with the city. August 12th, they go back to the drawing board. We're a little frustrated here, but we're going to be playing Saskatchewan on Sunday, and we plan on playing football and completing the season here in Montreal.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Back up to you guys now.
Second sack by Grant Carter. Second tonight, that is. 7th on the season.
Well, he's right at the top of your screen. Now let's see the move. He puts on Miles Garrell. Miles tries to drive him down to the ground, and Grant Carter just keeps on working, fights his way through. He's actually crawling to quarterback Larry Jusdanis. Comes up with his 2nd sack of the ball game.
So Jusdanis looks at a 9-yard loss, 2nd and 19. And he's grabbed again. Indecision that time. Demetrius Maxey.
Well, there's a flag down in the middle of the field. It's usually in that area of holding. But you'd think if there was a holding call that Demetrius Maxey might not have got in there so quickly. Five games last year.
Hamilton, number 66, that penalty is declined.
Big Miles Garrell got called on the illegal block, and he's had his hands kind of up in the face mask a couple of times, so he got caught that time, but they're not going to take that. Demetrius Maxey will get credit for that sack. They'll decline the penalty and force Hamilton into a punting situation.
Osbaldiston is in, standing right about midfield. Dexter Dawson back at his 10-yard line for the Alouettes. This will sail through for a single. Now they get a no yards penalty there on the bounce back. We'll check out the infraction there and see if the single stands for Osbaldiston or not.
The definition of gray. The boring midtones found between black and white. The definition of the Grey Cup. The Great Canadian Party. It's time to stand up and get passionate about your country, its traditions, its future. One of these great traditions is football played the way it was meant to be. Radically Canadian. The Canadian Football League. It's hard-hitting. It's longer, wider, faster football. Every game is an event, a party. More importantly, it's our game and we won't change it for anyone. The CFL. Radically Canadian and proud of it. Now you too can be a radical Canadian by wearing radical hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and golf shirts, all from Starter Canada. Get radical from only $19.99. Call 1-800-545-5757. These items aren't available in any store. The only way you can get radical is to call now. Dare to be different. Get radical. Be Canadian. The Canadian Football League. It's radically Canadian. Call 1-800-545-5757 now.
It's 6 past the hour at the end of another busy Friday.
As the moment approaches, Eatmore promises rich, dark toffee, loaded with peanuts. That's not too sweet tasting. When the moment arrives, Eatmore promises to take a good, long while. Chew and eat more. Stretch the moment. It's a real, long chew.
Closed captioning of this CFL telecast is brought to you by Subway. Try Subway's great tasting classic Italian BMT.
Montreal Alouettes have declined the penalty against the Tiger Cats, given up the single point, and they'll take field position out at the 35.
Could be an important single point down the road here. It makes it a 6-point game instead of a 7-point game. Tracy Ham just wants to make sure where he would have got field position had he took the penalty, and obviously field position is the reason they made the decision. Let's take a look at the pass distribution of Tracy Ham. Right after the execution.
Yeah, let's watch this play from the 35. McLennan near side. This is Norman Brantford, slowed down. Another good play by Philbrick. Now here's where Tracy's looked to send it tonight.
Take a look at his distribution. You got left and middle dominant, and a little bit, a couple balls to the right side. And again, unusual for a right-handed quarterback. You usually think they'll want to throw that way all the time, but the real veterans just go to where the read takes them. In other words, what the defense dictates is which way they'll go. So that's what you'll see at a lot of the veterans.
Gain of 1 for Brantford, 2nd and 9, facing Ham now. And he's on target for a first down. No, Armstrong couldn't hang on. Chris Armstrong at it for a split second.
That's pretty good coverage by Brett Young. He pulls his arms down, and Armstrong just runs a curl pattern. Brett Young's going to break up on it right there, and see how the ball is up high and Armstrong has it. Brett Young strips his arm down and pulls the ball out of it.
Almost kicked it out of his hands there. Did you see that left foot?
A little bit of a karate kick there.
On the way down, the foot came up. And
hey, whatever it takes. Former North Division All-Star comes up with a big play for Hamilton.
Led Ottawa with interceptions last year, totaling 5, 2 deep for the Tiger Cats. Baker sails one high. This is Ted Long to the 41. 6 yards on the return after a 39-yard punt.
Well, now it's interesting to see what the young quarterback does. I mean, in the last series, he came in out of the half and was hit a few times by Demetrius Maxey and Grant Carter on the other side of the line. So now Larry Jusdanis has to go in there knowing he's been hit, maybe a little more shell-shocked, and he's had a chance to get a little more nervous. So it'll be interesting to see what he does in this series.
Don Southern has had to cope with an awful lot of injuries in the last couple of weeks.
Oh boy, has he ever. I was talking to him before the game about that. I said to him, well, coach, because he looked so disappointed and frustrated about it, I said, well, you know, sometimes these things have a way of evening out, and maybe down the stretch run, all your guys will be healthy and the other teams will have some injury problems.
Jusdanis at the controls for the Tiger Cats, beginning at the 41, shovels it ahead for Stewart. It's bouncing in the ground. Still loose.
That's a forward pass.
Throwing a whistle to play down on a forward pass.
No, yeah. You throw that ball underhand, overhand, behind the back.
Ahead of you, it's a forward pass.
As long as it's going forward, it's considered a forward pass, and that'll be incomplete. Well, Don Southern has a little bit of experience in defensive backfields. He had the whole group right there. Greer and Sam Rogers, and just straightening things out for the next time they go on the field.
2nd and 10, Tiger Cats. Hamilton 41, Jusdanis at the controls. Can't find a receiver. Takes off again. He gets about 4 yards before he's forced out. So Osbaldiston will come into the game.
Is there a flag over there by the bench?
Well, it's out of bounds if there is.
Grant Carter is not happy Well, we couldn't see it. We're on the opposite side of the field.
And they've filled this place full of smoke on top of things. For a little celebration at halftime honoring the Quebec Olympic athletes returning home. So if there's a flag down over there, we'll have to keep an eye on Bud Steen. Apparently not. Apparently not. Dexter Dawson deep for Montreal with Osbaldiston punting from his 31. Dawson to return and retreating first. Uses one of the officials for a bit of a screen. Then he's dragged down on a nice tackle.
Dean Noel comes up with a big one. I remember a game, he takes off and catches Corey Philpott when they were playing the BC Lions in BC. And he made a nice special team tackle there. Dexter Dawson still running.
Loss of 13 on the return, and here's Michael again.
Well, John, as you can probably see, Anthony Calvillo is back on the bench. He's not going to be back in the game, but there they are together, the two quarterbacks. Jusdanis is getting some advice from him, and I guess that's going to be the way for the rest of the game.
Well, apparently it's a strained hamstring, and they are, not going to take any chances putting Anthony Calvillo in a position where he could really hurt him bad and be out for the whole season. The strain's not as bad as a pull, and you want it to become a pull hamstring.
Tracy Ham on first down. The pitch to Bradford. Tight defense strings him out. He'll grab a few. We'll see where they spot the ball here. Montreal on top by 6. It's 18-12. Just about halfway through the third quarter at Olympic Stadium, Montreal.
Well, Norman Bradford's had a pretty good game. He's made some nice runs. He put the ball on the ground a couple of times, but it's like he's nursing a little bit of an injury. Maybe ankle.
6 yards in the previous play, 10 carries for 51 for Bradford, including the touchdown. And that was a great run in the first half.
You know, it looks like they're grabbing their ankle, and if you have a choice of what you'd have an injury on, an ankle would be better than knee, but we'll just take a look and see. Kind of gets caught in the mix there, and he's brought down by Samuel Hairston and Brett Young. It's hard to see how he hurts his leg, but some part of that twisting action, his ankle got caught up in there.
It's been a tough year on running backs in Montreal. Tyrone Rush is out. Mike Saunders is out. Saunders started the season. We might see Norman Bradford back before it's over. 2nd and 4. Ham to the near side. Has Armstrong. It'll be a first down and across the 45. Wrapped up by Derek Greer.
It's a nice job by Chris Armstrong working to the open area for his quarterback. You look at his projections for this season, he'll be close to 1,000 yards. In fact, if you were going on the numbers he had coming into this game, it'd be 969 yards on the season. You know, if he's that close, he's going to get the 1,000.
23 yards on that play. Ham standing back, looking deep near side, and he has Dexter Dawson. Are they calling it a catch or not? Dawson says yes. Official says not quite.
Well, they're saying it's no catch.
Here, Tracy Ham.
There's a flag down as well, but
Hamilton 99.
Roughing the passer on Mike Philbrick. Montreal is going to get the first down anyway. See Keith Embry at the top, and there's Philbrick. Took a couple of steps and really hammered Tracy Ham well after he had thrown that football, so he gets called on the late hit. Roughing the play on the quarterback. Don Southern hates, all coaches hate those penalties. It's one of those after the play discipline things and keeps drives alive for the opposing team.
Alouettes are 1st and 10 at the Ticat 48. That's Dexter Dawson in the backfield for Norman Bradford.
Well, Mike Philbrick just made up for it because he took out his frustrations on Dexter Dawson. Not only took out his frustrations, almost took his head off.
Philbrick was lineman of the week 2 weeks ago.
He's just to the right of the screen. You kind of see his back right here. This is Philbrick. Now just watch this as he works up the field, and then he'll see him wrap up right there on the head of Dexter Dawson and take out some of those frustrations.
Ham on 2nd down. Armstrong couldn't hang on. There was an opportunity for a Ticat interception in that area.
Well, Rob Hitchcock was coming from his safety position to help out on Armstrong, and for most of the season, Armstrong has seen double coverage. Hitchcock would be the guy that would come over and try and help out his halfback. He's going to be on the left-hand side of your screen. Now, Hitchcock's right in the middle. Now, watch him flow over to the ball, and he's coming to break up on Armstrong to get a little help on him, and the ball just tipped over his head, and frustration on the quarterback when his receiver doesn't come up with the catch.
Winfield lets it bounce out near the 8-yard line. 1st and 10 Ticats when we return to Olympic Stadium in Montreal.
If you want full office suite power at a word processor price, look no further than Corel Word Perfect Suite. Corel Word Perfect Suite includes an exceptionally intelligent word processor, an award-winning spreadsheet, amazing presentation graphics, plus business graphics and utilities, hundreds of fonts and thousands of clip art images. Corel Word Perfect Suite delivers office suite power at a word processor price.
Introducing new Maple Leaf 100% all-meat franks with seasonings and absolutely no fillers. They're also made with quality Maple Leaf beef and pork. New Maple Leaf 100% all-meat franks.
Introducing new chocolate fudge O'Henry, the O'Henry that's loaded with chocolate. New chocolate fudge O'Henry, the O'Henry that's so chocolatey.
Some great times for football in Montreal in the old days until '87. 49, 70, 74, 77. Grey Cup champions resided in Montreal. February 6th, Baltimore brought the CFL back with this guy in charge of proceedings. A report in La Presse today suggested that this could be the last game for the Montreal Alouettes this time around.
Yeah, and Jim Spiro's completely denied that he said that. He's still fighting with the city to try and get a $1.3 million loan, and Spiro says that it's kind of deferred until August before they make their decision. But I listened to him in the scrum before the game talking to a lot of the media here, and he said he signed a 15-year lease with this football team. He's under budget as far as running the organization. That's Jim Popp standing right beside him, the general manager. He likes the direction that it's going. He just needs a little help in the initial year from the city, and he's still trying to work at getting it.
Second down, about 1.5 yards to go. And Stewart falls forward. I'm not sure he made it. Fumble turnover for Montreal. It's a loose ball. And recovered by the Alouettes. That's Randolph.
Well, a lot of people have talked about Tony Stewart being a little fumble prone. I did the numbers over the last couple of years, and I don't buy it. I mean, Tony Stewart, even though he drops the ball there, I mean, you look at some of the best running backs in the league in the last couple of years, and they fumbled more times than Tony Stewart. But that time he ran into his own lineman, and Miles Burrell, and Paul Randolph's the one who's going to come up with. Look at those eyes. I mean, that's the linebacker ready to play, and he sees the ball and drops down and picks up the loose ball. But I mean, you look at Tony Stewart, and he's only fumbled a few times in the last few years, and Corey Philpott and Mike Pringle, when they're at their best, fumbled more. So I don't know if it's fair to say that he's fumble prone, although he obviously did there.
Norman Bradford for a couple on first down for the Alouettes inside the 20 of the Tiger Cats.
Now, Tracy Ham definitely wants to take advantage of this turnover. I mean, he's down here in the red zone. He's in 15-yard line. They're talking about that one getting away. That's Phillips over there. Jason Phillips talking to Tony Stewart. Hold on to the rock.
2nd and 8. Ham looks to the end zone for Spencer McClellan. Oh! No catch, they say.
Great effort. Well, I tell you what. his first game at wide receiver, including college. He told me before the game he had played a little bit in BC when guys got hurt, but that would have been one kind of circus catch.
Yeah, he lost it on the way down and got the nice bounce right back into the...
You see him looking over his left shoulder, then he had to turn back and look over his right, and he did a nice job of on the one hopper trying to hang on to it, but I'm a little disappointed that he couldn't make the circus catch, you know, for two reasons. One, obviously the points on the board, but the other one wants to get his new young wide receiver out there a catch on the books.
Terry Baker on the mark for another 3 for Montreal.
You know, Spencer McLennan comes up with that almost circus catch, and when we had our chat, said that he's not a burner. He said, I'm not going to run by too many people, and I'm a little worried about trying to get off the jam at the line of scrimmage and when defensive backs come up and try and bump me. But he said, hey, I'll try and get a few key blocks for some running backs and maybe just clear out so that Chris Armstrong and the experienced guys can get in there and get some open area. But Ham throws a pretty nice ball. He just throws it over the wrong shoulder. You see right there, now Spencer looking over his left. He has to kind of come back, look over his right. Toughest catch in football to try and make the over-the-shoulder grab. And Spencer can't come up to it. He's used to picking balls off going the other way.
Ticats turnover cost them 3. Jusdanis fires quickly this time and is off target for Jason Phillips, number 2. With Ken Watson covering.
Well, that ball was thrown right where it had to be. I mean, Ken Watson was right on Jason Phillips' backside, and he had to try and get that ball outside to the sideline. Jusdanis does it, and Phillips can't come up with it. Ken Watson, of course, played in BC and had an interception and 5 knockdowns in 1995 with Baltimore.
2nd and 10, Tiger Cats. Jusdanis to his right. Throwing on the run and almost picked off. Harold Nash almost had a gift from Larry Jusdanis. He was looking for Bert Thornton.
Yeah, he was waving to Bert Thornton as he was coming off, saying, you got to come back, work back to me. Jusdanis saw safety Harold Nash coming across, and as he was throwing on the run, he knew he was coming, but he's just hoping that his receiver will step up. Now, fairness to Bert Thornton, he sort of slipped down and couldn't come back to the football, but Harold Nash gets to move to safety because Spencer McLennan is at wide receiver.
Osbaldiston standing back at his 20 now. Another 2 and out for the Tiger Cats. Big charge. Whoa. He got it away. Dexter Dawson. It opens up the middle. Dawson is out near the 50 to about the 51. 19 yards on the return after a 43-yard kick. Calvillo sitting alongside the rookie who's on the phone. And Anthony Calvillo came up limping after trying to sprint to his left in the first half.
Yeah, early in the first half, he takes off to his left, and you're going to see him just basically stop. He can't even lift up his right leg. Re-injured the hamstring that he had hurt in the BC Lions game last week. Also has a bit of an ankle problem. And look at the injury situation for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I mean, that is right there 8 starters. Then you throw in Anthony Calvillo, so your 2 starting quarterbacks are out. I mean, poor Don Southern. Wow.
And here's one more.
Looks like it's Brett Young down on the field. So now on the defensive side of the ball, Hamilton's having some more problems. And Don Southern must be wondering what he's got to do. I mean, everybody he's got's getting hurt. They're all starters and key players. He lost the middle of his defense with Calvin Tiggle and Mike Campbell being out. That's the heart of that defense. And now one of the best cover guys in the league, and Brett Young limping off.
And the Ticats aren't all that deep in the secondary.
Right over here is Brett Young. Now he's going to come down on the cover team. Just got to follow him and see. And he pulls up. That looks like a hamstring as well. I mean, no one touched him when he pulled up that right leg. And it looks like he's got a hamstring pull, and you can see the frustration on his face.
So more adjustments to that Tiger Cat secondary. Number 32, Jay Phillips, is listed as the backup back there. A little screen to Bradford with a flag down. And Norman Bradford gets out here. The Ticat 45. We'll check the infraction, however. 14 yards. Should it stand?
Procedure against Montreal. So that one will come back. Boy, Jay Phillips now in that secondary.
Number 88.
What a makeshift team, and Bob Price has to be thinking, just like Leaf talked about halftime on the panel. There's Mike Saunders beside him, of course, injured running back. And he has to be thinking that if they don't win this game with the injuries that Hamilton has, boy, they got some problems, because if you're going to beat Hamilton, now's the time to do it.
First down, 15 to go. Alouettes back at the Montreal 45. Draw play to Bradford. Another Michael Souls, number 22.
Just go back on that thought on injuries, John, for Hamilton. I mean, Jay Phillips is in the ball game right now. Sam Rogers is the starting halfback. He's replacing Gary Lewis, who was injured, #1 starter. Brett Young's on the sideline now. Jay Phillips in for him. And guess who the next quarterback is if Hamilton were to lose Jusdanis?
Now I'm looking here.
Jay Phillips. Played a little quarterback in college, has never taken a snap even in practice, but he's their next quarterback.
Tracy Ham on second at about 14, looking deep. Bradford couldn't catch up to it.
Well, they're hanging in there. I mean, Hamilton hasn't been able to take advantage of the injury situation just yet. It's still a close enough game, and Hamilton has to feel like they can just generate a little offense with their young quarterback and may be able to pull one out here.
Montreal on top, 21-12 as it stands right now. Return would be nice for the Tiger Cats to get some field position for the young quarterback. This is Earl Winfield. Not a regular returner into his 10th season now.
Yeah, but
he loves to get out there every once in a while.
He sure does. You know, I was watching that interview you had with him before the game, and Winfield just looks like he's still having fun at his age, doesn't he? I mean, he catches, he likes to go out there and catch a punt. And you know what? As a fan of this league and a player, I always thought whenever he touches the ball, something great can happen, even though he only picked up a few yards there. I mean, this guy is one special football player. I mean, look at
all
that.
9 years with the Tiger Cats. He's not going to catch Henry Williams in this his farewell tour year.
A little bit of a scoop there. This is Earl Winfield's last season, so all those Hamilton fans, if you want to see one of the greatest receivers to ever play, better buy a ticket this year.
First and 10 for the Tiger Cats.
And there's Jay Phillips. He's in there right now because Brett Young is out with the injury. He went to Arizona, played a little quarterback in Arizona. And I talked to Don Southern before the game. I said, hey, what happens if you lose Anthony Calvillo and Larry Jusdanis? He says, well, we'd have to go with Jay Phillips and maybe Herb Bowman down there just giving him a couple of plays just in case.
Jusdanis, second down and 5. He'll make it a first down here. Stewart hangs on.
That's the type of play you got to get the young quarterback. I mean, give him a couple of plays where he's got a safety valve, a running back that can just dump the ball off and not try and force it in there, and that was a nice call for him.
1:23 to go in the third quarter. Ticats down 21-12. Here's Stewart out of the backfield.
Here he is right here, and he's going to see if there's any pressure and then go off. He sees that no linebackers are coming, so he'll just release and set up for his quarterback.
Jusdanis. And Winfield goes up and brings it down. Earl Winfield at the 50-yard line.
But how many times has defensive backs, and I know from experience, had Earl Winfield right there in coverage like Charlie Gordon did on that play, and all of a sudden you go to grab him around the back of the shoulder pads and you end up grabbing the back of his knees because he jumps out of the building to go get the ball. I mean, not much Irv Smith could do on that play.
16-yard gain as the Tiger Cats are set up at the 50-yard line. Flipped ahead for Long. Head of steam for 10 Long. Still standing, and he's down inside the 25 to the 20-yard line. Well, shovel pass worked that time.
He's basically the tailback or the receiving back in Hamilton's pass offense, and really only has one running play coming into this game for 3 yards, but he is important in the passing game, and even though it's debatable, that pass that you just saw, that play you just saw, was considered a pass.
29-yard gain.
Dale Sanderson adding to the list of injury problems. There's Brett Young and Don Southern talking. He's asking how that hamstring is and if there's any chance. And you see him looking up and down the bench. I mean, he must be just saying, I'm running out of guys. I'm just straight out running out of bodies.
Ticats actually came into the game with only 35 players dressed because of the injury shortage. They had hoped to have Mike Campbell be available to make the road trip, but he's just not quite ready. So Campbell should get back next week. Matt Dunnigan should be back next week. So they get a couple of key guys back. Tiggle has gone for quite a while.
Val St. Germain broke his leg. He's out for the season. And
Dave Richardson will be back next week, I do believe.
That'll be good timing for Hamilton, because with the injury here, hopefully not bad to Dale Sanderson, but Val St. Germain out, they need Dave Richardson back.
How about a class act? Matt Dunnigan went off to the bus station yesterday to see the players get on the bus and then board the train for Montreal. Took down donuts for the entire team.
You think Dale Sanderson had a few?
Well, Sanderson might have been the first in, but likely after Miles Gorell jumped
when
into
there's
the
a
donut bag.
No, when there's a donut lineup, you get in front of Miles Gorell.
Yeah.
It could be over.
Anyway, I thought it was classy of Dunnigan to see his teammates off. Couldn't make the trip, but he took down the donuts for the bus ride to the train station.
That's the type of leader that Matt Dunnigan is. Little things that go a long way.
Jusdanis on first down, looking for Winfield, and why not?
Oh, man.
He's got the touchdown, Earl Winfield. And that's the first touchdown toss for Larry Jusdanis. No flags anywhere, and that's sweet justice for Jusdanis right there, who's come in under immense pressure, at least in the Tiger Cat side of things, to
be
the third string quarterback and toss a touchdown pass in his first game.
I tell you what, for a young quarterback, if you have a guy like Earl Winfield, Winfield knows he's got to help him out and get him some confidence. Jusdanis just kind of throws it up there, and then guess who does all the work? The touchdown guy. Earl Winfield comes up with another one. I mean, he's close to tons of records and touchdowns, and 85 career touchdowns now. He's a couple back of Willie Fleming from BC. Move into 7th all time, and that just adds to the list.
And Osbaldiston makes it a ball game again, adding one. Jusdanis to Winfield. And when you're the rookie, why not go to the veteran and let him go up and bring one down?
What a catch.
CFL live at the quarter. Brought to you by Bank of Montreal. It is possible.
Well, it was a raw rookie hooking up with a veteran. Larry Jusdanis with his first touchdown toss in the Canadian Football League. Earl Winfield, his 85th touchdown in the Canadian Football League. You got to go to the veterans, Les.
Well, I was saying earlier, I think that if I was a rookie quarterback coming into a game, I'd want to go to the veteran, because veterans aren't going to let you down. And that's exactly what he did. He went to Earl, started hooking up with Earl, and look what success.
And of course, it's just like we said, the second coming of Russ Jackson right now, Larry.
Oh, what a backtracker, eh?
No, it's true. I mean,
what do you think of the young guy now?
I think he's great. I mean, he's been willing to go deep all night long. He's put lots of airtime on the ball to let the receivers get underneath. It is the second coming of Russ Jackson.
You know what I think, the way he throws the ball, Jusdanis, that pass he threw the Winfield, that's a bread and butter play for Earl. He loves to go up and beat the defensive back one-on-one, and he throws a nice, he gets a lot of air under it, and he makes a nice play on the thing. That might be a good combination. Maybe he's going to get together in the fourth quarter.
Better be a good combination.
I know that when the ball went up, I said it was a touchdown, because I've seen so many of those. Earl's caught many of them on me like that. The ball's thrown up in the air, and he just out-jumps you for it.
Maybe it'll add some intensity to this fourth quarter, because so far it has been somewhat lacking, has it not, Leaf?
Oh, Darren, I mean, well, we were watching the last few minutes of that quarter. I mean, you look at Montreal, they've allowed Hamilton to creep back into this with all their injury problems, but such a lack of intensity on their part. Tracy Ham is having an absolutely horrible night. Herb Smith's having all kinds of trouble on the corner. But this is a team that really has a chance in its own division to get back in the hunt. They're playing at home where they're trying to sell the product to their fans, and they are throwing a big bomb out there tonight.
Well, there's still one quarter to play. Let's go back to Olympic Stadium in Montreal as we rejoin John and Glenn. Gentlemen.
Back for the return by Dexter Dawson, and penalty markers are everywhere around the 30-yard line. Fourth quarter is just underway. Ticats have moved within a couple of points as the rookie from Acadia connected with the veteran Earl Winfield. And we've got a 2-point ball game now. Bud Steen sorting out the penalties down there. Indication against Montreal for holding.
And Montreal had a penalty pretty much on the last 4 or 5 punt returns for one thing or another, and you know Bob Price will be addressing that problem.
This is taking a while to sort things out. Jusdanis on the phone.
Yeah, he goes straight from the huddle, like
to the phone.
He barely throws the ball, and he's back on the phone. Like right now, Earl Whitfield making the dramatic catch. Jusdanis doesn't see it because he's over there on the phone. What a catch by a guy who's made a living doing just that right there. And here's the reaction of his quarterback.
That's number 1
yeah.
in the CFL. I'll tell you what, Sonny Wolf and the coaching staff out at Acadia will be cheering Jusdanis right here. 5 plays to cover 83 yards in a time of 2:24, and he went to Winfield for a 21-yard touchdown. So it's a 2-point game again as Jusdanis refuses to give up in relief of Anthony Calvillo. And he's getting the information from John Jenkins, the offensive coordinator upstairs. Meantime, Ham and the Alouettes have the ball with a first down at the 35. Play action fake. And Ham is down. Mike Philbrick sailing through. It didn't look like anyone got a hand on Philbrick there.
Well, Philbrick gets his first sack of the season in 1996, but he had that penalty early that kept the drive alive for Montreal, and ever since then he's been on fire. He had a couple stops on running plays on Dexter Dawson, and there just beating his man on the straight bull rush to get to Tracy Ham.
Alouettes have 3, the Ticats now have 1. 7-yard loss, 2nd and 17. Al's back to the 28. Ham, man wide open, it's Bradford again. Norman Bradford should have been stopped, but he'll get the first down. Numbers through 3. 17 first downs for the Tiger Cats compared to 11 for the Alouettes. 335 net yards. And time of possession within a few seconds.
Pretty close, and Earl Winfield with that, his 85th touchdown. He's only 15 yards away right now from Jim Young, 10th all-time in receiving yards.
And it's a 2-point ball game. First down, Montreal. Michael Souls that time, number 22.
Boy, I go back to the play before that where Montreal was in a second and long 17. Situation. Yes. And Norman Bradford made Don Robinson miss, or they hold him 10 yards short of the first down. Those running backs, Don Southern's get frustrated. He knows he's got the right defensive call, and then Don Robinson comes up and just misses the tackle.
Alouettes at the 52 on 2nd and 5. And Ham, somehow, well, he got sacked there. I thought he was going to sneak away for a split second.
Well, Tom Brown
got away from the first wave. Brown held on, though.
Yeah, Tom Brown comes on to stunt John. He's going to come on his blitz from the middle linebacker position. Hasn't shown it much throughout this football game, and then all of a sudden here he comes. Michael Souls is the guy responsible for blocking him. Kind of does the Olay, and here comes Tim Brown and just hangs on.
He squirted away from Brown, who had to approach him from the other side to bring down Tracy Ham. Baker across the 35. Whoa. Winfield back at the 10. And a big hit on Earl Winfield. Paul Randolph having a whale of a game for Montreal on defense and on special teams.
Play Safeway's Touchdown to Win. If your name appears below, you may have won the all-new Uniden 25-channel cordless phone and digital answering system. It's loaded with exceptional features, no tapes or moving parts. Uniden, built with quality that really goes the distance. Or durable Macassa stoneware in the lifestyle pattern. It's oven, detergent, microwave, and dishwasher safe. For finest quality dinnerware, stemware, flatware, and gifts, Macassa sets the standard. Touchdown to win ballots available exclusively at all participating Safeway stores.
Oh, what'd you get? Chicken nugget. Fine.
Wendy's 6-piece crispy chicken nuggets are such a great deal at $1.99.
Help yourself.
Everybody's eating them. After all, you get 6 tender pieces that are crispy on the outside and juicy on the inside. Delicious with one of Wendy's 4 savory sauces. At $1.99, they're such a great deal. You might want to buy 2.
It's quite possibly the best deal in chicken.
Wendy's 6-piece crispy chicken nuggets, now just $1.99.
CFL Live on TSN. Brought to you in part by Diet Pepsi. Diet Pepsi has no diet aftertaste. And by the Alliance of Canada's only full-service telecommunications companies, proud sponsors of the Canadian Olympic team.
Ticats, first down. Larry Jusdanis at the controls. He's wearing number 8. Not a bad CFL beginning for a Canadian kid from Acadia. 8 of 14, 175 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Hey,
and he's kept the Tiger Cats in this. They're only down by 2 with lots of the 4th quarter to go.
Let me tell you something. That's not a bad start for any quarterback who hasn't had hardly any reps in practice. Just gets thrown in the situation he's in now.
Stewart. 3 yards for Tony Stewart. He's back in the lineup after missing a couple. Tiger Cat rushing leader.
And a guy who's had over 1,000 yards rushing in Tony Stewart. Look at Jusdanis. That huddle, just audible guys telling what play to run on the line of scrimmage. Pretty composed.
2nd and 7. Jusdanis looking a little deeper this time. Didn't miss by much. Marcus Grant, number 83. The intended receiver.
Well, Marcus Grant had maybe a step on Douglas Kraft. I mean, Kraft was there with him, and Marcus Grant thinks he could have just put on the afterburner there one more step. But hey, it's a 4th quarter football game. It's awful hard to try and find that extra gear for any guy, and now he falls. That one falls just short.
So Osbaldiston in, and right now the Alouettes winning the battle for field position. Dexter Dawson standing around midfield right now. Osbaldiston back at his 3. Bit of a charge on, but Osbaldiston got it away and chased Dawson back another 10 yards. He got almost all of that back. And it'll be a first down. Alouettes at the 50-yard line. A little bit of an Olympic celebration at Olympic Stadium tonight. Let's bring in Michael Whalen again.
Thank you very much, John. Well, standing by with me is Sylvie Frechette. And Sylvie, of course, won the gold medal in Barcelona, and you come home with a silver, and you're still one of the most popular ladies in this town.
Well, it is so nice to be home, and just to have that welcome from everybody here and being invited at that football game, it means a lot to us. It seems like it's going to make the magic of the Olympics last a little longer.
You know, I think it's been so warm in Montreal the last 3 days, we're all wondering, is it as warm in Atlanta as it is here?
Actually, I think we brought it home with us because the temperature and the weather we had today was about the same in Atlanta. So I hope you're enjoying it because we had that last month.
All right, thank you very much, Sylvie. Congratulations once again. Back to you now.
When I flew in on the Sylvie Frechette Express yesterday, I was on Sylvie's plane.
Oh, man.
Sitting just a couple of rows behind. And when we landed at Dorval in Montreal, 10 television cameras were there. And I was trying to count up the number of television networks in this province, and I couldn't quite get to 10. But they were all there to meet Sylvie yesterday. Alouette first down. Ham goes deep. First time that Nigel Williams has come close tonight, and he was oh so close.
Like comes into the game with about 184 yards, and a lot of them coming on plays like that. A lot of deep balls. He gets the post pattern, running on Derek Greer, gets in behind him by a couple of steps. Rob Hitchcock, the safety, was caught up a little shallow and just about comes up with the diving catch.
A couple of touchdowns for Nigel Williams so far in 96. 2nd and 10 facing Ham now. As Bradford turns and can't quite get the first down, lost the ball. It is a fumble and a loose ball. Tiger Cats have it. Still going. Down to the 31-yard line. Derek Greer. Alouettes kind of froze over there for a second, and Greer kept going. There were a couple of Tiger Cats who had an opportunity.
Oh, the play was just a quick dump-off pass to Norman Bradford. Now, he's put the ball on the ground a couple of times. You're going to see him come out of the backfield and cross right there in front of your screen, number 23. Now, he picks up the ball. We'll see the fumble right here as he gets hit there. I believe it was Samuel Hairston. No, check, that was Tim Brown who hit him, and then both Brown and Tom Gerhardt try and pick it up. They can't. Derek Greer gets the handle and picks up some yards, and a huge play for the Hamilton Ticats.
Gerhardt had an opportunity to recover it. So did the middle linebacker, Brown.
Well, you know, and they get over there, and the ball comes out right there, and Tim Brown strips it. Now it's bounced around like Brown and Tom Gerhardt trying to pick it up, and those guys don't know how to handle the ball. Give it to a DB.
There you go.
Give it to a defensive back. He knows how to pick up that thing and take off with it. Oh, boy.
This would be a costly injury for the Ticats right now. Joe Montford has played brilliantly, had 8 tackles last week.
It's the Hamilton Ticat mash unit. Another injury, and Norman Bradford can't figure out how to get the handle on the football. Got lucky early in the game when he recovered his own fumbles, and Joe Mumford limping off, and hopefully he'll be back. At least he's putting full weight on that foot.
39-yard return after the fumble recovery by Derek Greer. Set the Tiger Cats up at the Montreal 31. It's a 2-point ball game, 9:41 to go in the final quarter in Olympic Stadium. This is a rookie at quarterback. Looks it ahead for Ted Young. Larry Jusdanis.
What a nice
out
play.
Of Acadia. Looking rather calm out there at times, at least.
Sure is. And Gary Rogers comes up with a real nice play there. I mean, he works underneath the block, I believe, of Dwayne Morgan on the right side, that offensive right side. He comes underneath there and still has the quickness to get down low and get Ted Long's legs, get him on the ground.
Really no gain. Maybe about 6 inches. So Jusdanis looks at 2nd and almost 10. Rolling and throwing for Marcus Grant.
You know what? If he throws that one on the money to Marcus Grant, Ken Watson picks it off. Not a bad decision to just throw that one out of bounds. I mean, if he was going to get that in there, he had about, well, how big is the ball around?
About that big.
6 inches?
Can
Okay,
you see my
gotcha.
fingers?
It's about, what, 6 inches around from side to side? Well, he had about 5.5 to get it in there.
We'll measure the Wilson right after the game here and check that out. I guess you wouldn't know. You didn't hang on to many.
No, I didn't catch many of them. Not enough to know how big it is.
Osbaldiston for the Tiger Cat lead, and he nails it. Ticats on top by a point at Olympic Stadium in Montreal.
Music looks like a lot of fun when you're playing, and it is. It's a business, though. You've got to make ends meet. I make 500-600 calls a month. The Advantage program is definitely something that's come into play in a big way. When you're out on the road, you're working 24 hours a day. Checking back with the office, the voicemail. The discounts for me have come in around 30%. It's a sizable chunk of money. It's a long, slow process to an overnight success.
Advantage, providing solutions for business.
It's 6 past the hour at the end of another busy Friday.
As the moment approaches, Eatmore promises rich, dark toffee, loaded with peanuts. That's not too sweet tasting. When the moment arrives, Eatmore promises to take a good, long while. Chew and eat more. Stretch the moment. It's a real, long chew.
6 o'clock already? What to make?
Maple Leaf makes great meals easy.
Chicken Caesar. It's quick. Wait. Oriental stir fry. Mmm, exotic. Pasta? They love Italian. Sweet and sour chicken. Or maybe fajitas.
Maple Leaf chicken fixins. Lean strips of fully cooked seasoned chicken ready in minutes. Try the recipes included or create your own. Original, Oriental, and Italian. Maple Leaf chicken fixins. Great meals made easy.
Hang on, I'm busy trying to find a tape measure.
Yeah, to measure a football.
Here.
Norman Bradford had a fumble that cost.
Well, that's what I'm trying to talk about. Like, look at Ken Watson, 33 up there. He's right in front of Marcus Grant. There's really no place for that ball to get in there. And even though I didn't explain it very well, that's basically what I was trying to get at.
Well, I understand you.
I'm glad someone did.
Dexter Dawson returning for Montreal. He's out near the 35. At about the 34-yard line. 14 on the return. And Tracy Ham and the Alouettes have fallen behind once more. Not one of Ham's more brilliant nights, 9 of 24, so he's less than 50, 211 yards, no interceptions so far. He has 8:34 to regain the lead for the Montreal Alouettes. And a pretty good bet that he's going to do that. At least get back in the lead. The Tiger Cats are hanging tough, though.
There's your scoring by quarters, and boy, Hamilton fans gotta love their team. They've lost more than half the roster, and they're still in there scratching and clawing to try and stay in this football game and are back to head right now.
From the 35, it's Bradford on first down, taking the pitch from Tracy Ham. 3 yards the gain.
Well, the gain for Norman Bradford is that he hung on to the football. He's dropped a couple today, and they've cost his team some points, and now he's just got to concentrate on maybe one less move and just make sure you secure the ball.
He did have a brilliant touchdown run. First half, 2nd and 7. Ham sends 3 receivers to the near side. Rolls into